All right, guys, I am live, and I know I had some technical difficulties. Hopefully, the sound's all right. Um, I had to switch back to my bad camera, the bad microphone, so it might not sound as well on my end. But let me know if you're in the chat. I think, yeah, there you go. What's going on, Dave? Let me know if the volume's coming in all right. I had to switch to the computer microphone because for some reason, every once in a while, my adapter does not charge properly. What's going on, Jeffrey? Happy thanks for popping in the stream, man. So let's get what's going on. What's going on, Scotty H? What's going on? All right. Thank you guys for letting me know what's going on, Gary Gaston. So hopefully we get some callers. Hopefully the volume comes in good on that end as well. And I apologize for that. Technical difficulties happen sometimes when you go live. What's going on, Vance? Thanks for popping in. What's going on, Clan? What's going on? Thank you for being here. It sounds different, but yeah, I can't do anything about that, man. Can't do anything about that because the adapter, I might be able to switch midstream, but for some reason it's not charging. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but yeah, but that's all right as long as the sound's coming in all right. What's up, Crombite? What's going on, Eli? What's going on, Yuri? Thank you guys for being here. And the number is posted right above my head, 914-481-3540 if you want to call in. And I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Oh, there we go. And 1 second, I just want to make sure everybody can hear you guys all right. Hello? Hello? All right. Got it. When you guys call in, you got to have the volume off. When you guys call in, you got to have the volume off. What's going on, Waterfly? What's going on? What's going on? You're on live. Thank you for calling in. Who's this? Hello? Hello? All right. Next caller. 0 for 2. What's going on? You're on live. Thank you for calling in. Who's this? Is this some... You guys all right? Hello? Hello? Who's this? Hello? All right. When you guys call in, you got to have the volume off. When you guys call in, you got to have the volume off. What's going on, Waterfly? What's going on? I don't know if it's them or me. I don't know. I don't know if it's them or me. But I'm trying my best. What's going on, Paul? Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Hello, it's Haji.
There we go. We got a caller. What's going on, Haji? How you doing, buddy? Haji? Okay. All right. I don't know if it's them or me. All right, guys. I you know what, guys? We're gonna stop the call-in show because this does not seem to be working tonight. But I'm trying my best. We're gonna do a Q&A instead because this is not working tonight, guys. Hello. Yeah, we're gonna do a Q&A instead because I think it's because I switched. I'm just gonna cancel the Skype. Hold on. Just stop calling in. It's not working, guys. We're gonna stop the calling tonight. We'll do a Q&A instead. What's going on? Stream? I can't do anything about the call-in. I don't know what happened. I think it's because I had to switch. I tried my best. But instead of the call-in, we'll do a Q&A. We'll do a hangout for a little bit, and if there's not a lot of people in here because they're expecting the call-in, can't do anything about that. I tried my best. Something wrong with the charger. I had to delete the Skype. But if you guys want to hang out, we'll talk free agency. I don't even know how many people are in here. What's going on, Lake Nona? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Let me expand this. What's going on? Yeah, my first call-in show, and I can't do anything about it. I mean, I could try to come back, when my computer's charged, and hook it up the other way, but I can't do anything about it. For some reason, I can't hear the callers. You guys could hear me, I suppose, but I can't hear the callers. But I think it's because I tried to switch to the audio from the computer, because the adapter wasn't working. I think that's what happened. What's up, Kenny Smith? What's going on, BS? What's going on, Belly? Thanks, Pop. There's no trivia tonight. I don't have any questions. I don't have any questions, Super. I don't have any questions. Can't do trivia tonight. Peter, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. Bends the knees. He says, Chris, you know how anxious I am. Who do you think the Giants' first free agent signing will be? Oh man, that's a great question, man. If I had to pick, I'm assuming you're talking about outside the New York Giants organization. If I had to pick one guy today, I think the safest pick, and I don't know for sure of anyone, that's going to be a New York Giant. This is just me guessing based on things I've heard. I'm leaning Kyle Van Noy. I really do think that there's a strong possibility Kyle Van Noy is going to be a Giant. I think he fits exactly what we're trying to do. He's worked with Joe Judge. He's versatile. I think Kyle Van Noy. If I had to pick one guy, he's going to be pretty cost effective. I think he's going to be around $11 to $12 million. I'll go Van Noy. I'll go Van Noy. Let's see what we got here. Wednesday's. Oh, I cannot wait for. Well, you're gonna hear answers long before Wednesday. You're gonna hear answers probably tomorrow. You're gonna start to hear some things leak. I remember because I did this last year. Anybody that might be new to my channel, I put out a ton of content last year during free agency, and the first day they were allowed to talk to the players, more than half of the free agent signings you were told about. So I would be surprised if we don't hear some news tomorrow. I'm not saying necessarily with the Giants, but I think you're definitely going to hear a lot of rumors tomorrow as to who's going where. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Kevin? Can't do trivia, Supermo. You can't do trivia when you're not prepared to do trivia. What's up, Rafael DeLuna? How is everyone doing? Yeah, it's tough. It is tough. By the way, we're not doing a call-in show. I know that the title might say call-in show. I'm having problems with the audio. So we're doing a Q&A instead, just like a hangout. Talk to you guys for a couple hours about about free agency. I tried to get the call-in show working. We'll do it on Tuesday instead. I was gonna do a Q&A on Tuesday. Maybe we'll do a call-in show instead. I'll make sure the computer's charging. It's probably because I've been doing so many uploads today. My computer doesn't want to charge now. I don't know. What? Oh, Harrison Jolly, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. I appreciate that, man. What's going on, Reggie Jones? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Yes, free agency is Christmas for you. Yes, it is. It is Christmas. And thanks for the love, man. How are you guys doing visits, though? Everything over the phone? I think everything's over the phone, BS. I mean, I don't think in this climate you're going to go out there and do visits. I mean, everybody's worried. I'm worried. I mean, and I'm not the most cautious person in the world, but even I stopped going to the gym. I'm running around the block now. I'm not going on the treadmill lifting weights. I'd be surprised if anybody's flying on planes. I think probably all the signings will be pending physicals. That's if I had to guess. And with the Giants, watch, they sign somebody and then they fail the physical when they get there. You are doing a great job shifting the focus away from the mess that's going on. I appreciate that, Demonic, man. Demonic's awesome. What's going on, Slob on my broccoli? Rob, he says, what a relief, Pat signed McCourty. We do not need a damn safety. That would have been a waste of money. Well, yeah, I thought he was very possible, being that he has experience with Joe Judge. He's played special teams. He's a guy that Joe Judge has said great things about. I thought McCourty was very possible for the New York Giants, and if you were not a fan of bringing him in, well, you're happy. The one thing I will say, the market is getting set. I mean, I had him pegged for $27 million on 3 years. That's what I thought he would have gotten. He got more per year. He got a shorter contract. He got paid a lot. Roby got paid pretty well, too. So if you're a fan of bringing in a cornerback, you're going to pay an arm and a leg. I mean, Roby got $12 million. He's probably the seventh guy on the list. I mean, these guys are going to go for a lot of money. What's going on there, MH? It is not a call-in show, by the way. You can do video chats with players. Do you think we re-sign Latimer or Coleman? That's a great question. I think there's 4 guys on the roster right now. Well, not on the roster, but we're on last year's roster that they could look to bring back that haven't been yet. At least players of notability, and that being Cody Latimer, Cody Core. Who am I forgetting? Latimer, Core, Thomas, the safety, and Coleman. I think they could look to bring back any one of those 4. They might bring back all 4. We'll have to wait and see. They'll all be, relatively cheap, affordable contracts. What's going on there, Isaiah? No call-in show tonight, by the way, guys. It's a Q&A. The call-in was not working. I know it says in the title, call-in show. It's more going to be a hangout. I mean, I've done a bunch of these before. It's gonna be a Q&A for anybody that's popping in now. You want Clowney? Ms. Rahi wants Clowney right now. Is Rosas gone? No, I think Rosa's going to be back. Actually, if you listen to the New York Giants last year, MH, at the end of the year, they kind of said without saying it that Zach Diassi was a lot of the problems for why Rosa struggled in the kicking game. So I actually I think Rosas will be back. I think they'll have a new long snapper, but I think Rosas will get another year if I had to guess. And what happened to my chat? Of course, now my chat goes away. This is what's going on now. Hold on, I gotta pull up the chat. Actually, you know what? I'll pull up the chat on the phone because this is going crazy here. Hold on, and then I'll get to your guys' questions. Sorry about the mix-up tonight, guys, but sometimes it just gets stupid. Let me just see if I'm live here. There we are. Sorry about the mix-up tonight. All right, there we go. There's my chat. So now I got my chat on my phone. There'll be no more mix-ups. I got a fully charged phone. Kevin Knox is cute. Kevin Knox is not a good basketball player. That's all I know. The guy's shooting 35% this year. What's going on, Johnny boy? Thanks for popping in the stream. Ezra's in the house. He says, no calling tonight, Mike. The phone's getting mixed up. It's going to be a Q&A instead. Couldn't change the title. But anybody that's popping in, just let them know it's a Q&A. We'll be doing a call-in maybe Tuesday. If not, it'll be another Q&A. Yeah, the charge wasn't working. But we'll do a Q&A. We'll hang out. We'll answer some questions. We'll talk NFL free agency. Do I think Thomas is going to hold on one second. Do I think Andrew Thomas is going to drop out of the top 10? Yes. I had him dropping out of the top 10 in my last mock. Yes, I do think Andrew Thomas will fall out of the top 10. But I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. It could be all smoke and mirrors. He was thought to be the best offensive tackle for a long time. And you know, he started to drop somewhat due to his combine, even though he didn't even have a bad combine. The other guys just had really strong ones. So I do think he'll fall to the top 10 if I had to guess today. Because if you look at the draft, you got the Giants who could go offensive linemen. You got the Cardinals who could go offensive linemen. You got the Jets, but the Jets are 11. Yes, I do think Thomas will fall out of the top 10. Would you like Funchess over Perryman? Great question. And both of those wide receivers, what windows am I using? I don't even know what that means, Bobby. It's not going to be a call-in show tonight, so don't even bother. It's not going to be a call-in show tonight. I'll get to your question in a second, Big Blue. I want to answer the one I was about to answer. Funchess over Perryman. Both of those wide receivers, and I was going to make a video today because rumor had come out that the New York Giants were potentially interested in bringing in a wide receiver. And I was going to make a video today. Didn't have a chance to do it. I'll have it up tomorrow. But those are the two wide receivers I'd actually be pretty interested in. Both of them fit what I think the New York Giants are going to try to do. They're both tall. I like both of them. Funchess, of course, has a connection to Dave Gettleman with the Panthers. I still think I'd have Perryman above him. I think Perryman has probably a higher upside, but I do like both of them. I think of the wide receivers on the open market, if the Giants were to sign one, those two make the most sense because they fit, I think, what we're going to be looking to do. Let's see. There was another question I wanted to answer there. I'm trying my best, guy. Oh, Big Blue. Do you trust Clowney? Do you think his production might decline after he gets paid? That's a great question, and that's something that a lot of New York Giants fans worry about. You know, I don't know, man. I honestly don't think. I thought for a while that Clowney might be a New York Giant. I don't know if I feel that anymore. I don't know if I feel that anymore because now word has come out today that the Seahawks are interested in trying to bring him back. We'll see, man. I don't know if I feel that anymore. I do think Clowney fits our defense really well. I think he fit the scheme well. If you structured the contract a certain way where you could cut him after 2 years, it would keep him motivated maybe. I don't think he would quit, though. I would like to think he wouldn't quit. Who will the Giants bring in as next year's field? I think they stay as is. I think Rosas will be the kicker. Entertainer, who is the unluckiest franchise between the Jets? I'm not a Jets fan, so I'll say the Mets. Do you think the Giants make any moves tomorrow, or do you think they stand pat at a couple of days and see who's available? I think they're going to. I think you'll hear some. I mean, nothing will be official tomorrow, but I think you'll see some moves tomorrow. You'll hear about some moves tomorrow. You don't think Mike Remmers or Halapio will be back? No. I'd be shocked if either one of those two individuals are back. Remmers or Halapio. They're both gone. Halapio was horrible last year. Remmers was not very good either. I'd be shocked if either one of those two are back. Both of them need to be replaced. Let's see what we got here. Do you think we can get Judon for a fourth? Patrick, Probably not. I would think if one team is going to fold to what you would think they would want, I would actually guess it would be the Jaguars. You might get a better price with the Jaguars because I think they're in clear sell mode. I honestly think, even though rumors had come out a couple of weeks ago, I honestly think in my heart that that the Ravens are in win now mode. I don't think they're looking to trade Judon, if I had to guess, especially after acquiring Campbell. But it's possible they acquired Campbell knowing they were going to trade Judon. I haven't looked into it. I don't follow the Ravens. So if that is the case, maybe they would look to trade him. I don't think you're getting him for a fourth, though. Let's see what we got here. Claypool or T? I got to go with T. Higgins. I know there's a lot of Claypool fanatics that are my subscribers. They say it all the time. We have to get Claypool. I got to go T. Higgins. T. Higgins has a first-round draft grade by most people. Let's see what we got here. I love your content. What are your thoughts on linebacker? Thank you, by the way, Zagud. What are your thoughts on linebacker Ryan Conley? Should we keep him? Yeah, and by the way, guys, anybody that's popping in, it's not going to be a call-in show tonight. It's going to be a Q&A. The call-in wasn't working. I know it might say call-in in the comments below. I like Conley a lot. I mean, Conley, last year when we brought him in, everybody thought he was going to be a special teams contributor. I like him a lot, but the thing is, I think a lot of Giants fans got to pump the brakes a little bit on Ryan Conley. He played like 3 games. He got hurt, but he looked really good playing him. We got to make sure he's healthy. We got to make sure he's 100%. But I think he's at least capable of potentially being a starting linebacker in the NFL. And the Giants are definitely going to keep him. He's getting paid nothing. He was a 5th-round pick. He probably makes like $600,000 a year. The Giants are definitely keeping Conley. Question is he going to be healthy and ready to go? Oh, man, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that. Nepal, I want to make sure I get this right. Nepal, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that right. But Nepal, thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says, what's your thoughts on Rosas? Do we need a kicker? Yeah, a couple of people have asked me that. I'm not going to be shocked if they move on from Rosas. I mean, Rosas was really bad last year. And I get why people are asking that question. But in my opinion, and it depends, I guess, on the contract and what he's going to want. Obviously, Ryan Suckup got cut, a really accomplished kicker. But no, I think they're going to keep him, especially when you go back to last year. They benched Diassi late in the season. In my opinion, that was kind of saying, well, Diassi has a lot to do with the problems of our kicker. They brought in a new long snapper, and Rosas actually finished the year pretty strongly. Based on the fact that Rosas had a really good sophomore season, I think he'll be back with the New York Giants next year. I could be wrong, but I think he'll be back. Let's see what we got here. Kicker at 4. No kickers at 4. Great content. I really appreciate that, Baruch. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of videos, and I don't mean to annoy you guys, by the way. But this time of year, there's a lot. There's a lot of big news. There's a lot of free agency signings. So, I'm not gonna do every single player, but I'm gonna do any player of impact. Like I did McCourty today because he was a potential target for the New York Giants. I did, I did Tannehill because I kind of just wanted to scream about the quarterback market because I'm sick of it. And I tried to do, anybody that's somewhat related to the New York Giants, potential targets of ours, but I'm gonna have a lot of videos up the next couple of days. They might not be instant because I'll be working at times, but anything I hear Giants related, I'm gonna have up on the channel. But I appreciate all you guys for watching. Chris, do you think the Giants get a quarterback in free agency? I think they could, Bobby. I definitely think they could. But I think it'll be an affordable guy. I've heard people talk about Marcus Mariota. I think that's ridiculous. I don't see the Giants bringing in, what's going on, Arthur? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I don't see the Giants spending big bucks on a backup quarterback. It'll be a veteran if they bring one in. Clowney or Corona? I'll take Clowney, Ms. Riley. I'll take Clowney. Should we trade Solder to get other linemen? Okay, yeah, so I made a video on that today. A bunch of my subscribers, by the way, and I had a couple of people tell me, I had one guy tell me that I looked on somebody else's YouTube channel and posted. I don't have time to look at other people's YouTube channels, by the way, if that guy's in the chat. I posted like 7 videos today. I made that video because a bunch of my subscribers asked me to make that video regarding the news about Nate Solder and the provision. Now, I wasn't even 100% sure. I didn't have enough time to do a ton of research, but it wasn't even a provision. It was the same thing that was in last year's contract, and the CBA just transferred over. It's the same rule that's always been intact, so that was an error I made in that video. They now have the ability, they could stretch it out. They could cut him in June 1st and only take a $6.5 million dead cap at this year and next year. In terms of trading Nate Solder, you're not going to trade Nate Solder. Nobody is taking that contract. It's $40 million over the next 2 years for one of the worst left tackles in football. In terms of a starter, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to want to take on that contract. We're not getting rid of him. You know, the only way we get rid of him is if we cut him. What's going on, Lamel Sinclair? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. By the way, anybody that's popping in, it is not going to be a Colin show tonight. It's going to be a Q&A because the phones are acting up. So I know the title may say Colin, but it's Q&A. If the Giants get one big free agent, who do you want? One big free agent, who do I want? Probably at this point in time, probably Corey Littleton, because I think. And by the way, guys, I'm not trying to skip over anybody's questions. I know sometimes people get upset about that. I'm trying to answer each question I see as well as I can. As far as Corey Littleton goes, I think he's the best fit based financially and team need. And I think Conklin's just going to cost too much money. I don't think the Giants are going to be willing to spend $20 million a year. If you get Littleton for $15 million, a coverage middle linebacker, I think it'd be a really good fit. You could even still draft Simmons. I mean, you could still have two great coverage linebackers. I would doubt they would if they did that. But if they were going to sign one big name right now, I would actually be leaning Littleton over anybody else. XX, man, thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. $2 super chat. Barboski, what's going on, my man? Thanks for popping in. He says, love the channel. Thoughts on Carter and his role? That is a great question. And Lorenzo Carter, he seems to be a player that everybody's kind of up in the air about. Like, they don't know, how they want to use him with the New York Giants. And one thing I found interesting with the New York Giants last year was at the end of the season, they started to change the way they were using Carter. If you notice, like the last 3 or 4 games, they started playing him up at the line of scrimmage, and he started to have a lot more success, both in the interior and on the outside, up at the line of scrimmage. I think Carter's best role right now is actually in coverage as a middle linebacker. He's very athletic. He's shown that he's good in coverage. He's not the best at getting after the quarterback, but we'll see. If Joe Judge feels he could get a lot out of him in that role, I'm sure he's going to use him there. He's an interesting player to me, though, because he's a player that could do a lot of things. He could move around. He could play inside linebacker. He could play outside linebacker. You could play him up at the line of scrimmage. You want to talk about versatility. The 3 players, as I said with Rover Sports when I was talking to him, that stick out to me on this defense is Lorenzo Carter, Julian Love, and Peppers. Those 3 are incredibly versatile. You bring in a guy like Simmons, and then you got a lot of moving parts on this defense. What's going on? What is your prediction for our draft pick? Chris, I didn't get it. Yeah, Andy, it's probably because I had to go live and cancel the stream and come back. That's probably why. But it's a Q&A. It's not a call-in show. My prediction for our draft pick, if I had to guess right now, I would actually go Isaiah Simmons today, and that is before free agency. But if you ask me today, before knowing what they do in free agency, I would guess Isaiah Simmons will be our draft pick. And that's based on, and I'm not going to give any names, but I'm not one of these guys that comes on here and tells you I have a source. I have one of my subscribers that, let's just say, knows somebody in the New York Giants organization. And I haven't made a video on this because I don't want to be that guy, but he knows somebody in the New York Giants organization. And that person in the New York Giants organization has said to him that Isaiah Simmons right now is the guy that they're probably looking at. That's not me lying. That's the truth. At least that's what he tells me, and I trust him. What's going on, Slopping My Broccoli Rob with the $2 super chat? He says, Littleton is not a three-down linebacker. Stay away, Giants. Hey, man, I get it, man. I could definitely get why people would be scared off from Littleton. He wasn't even a starter till 2 years ago. So I can completely get why people might be scared off from Littleton. I like him. He's exactly what I think we should be looking for as a guy in coverage. He's definitely not a guy that's a traditional linebacker that's a thumper, though, against the run. He's kind of like Simmons. He's undersized for the position. But maybe you could use him in the similar role to what people want to use Simmons in, where you can move him around a little bit. I think versatility. I think that's why if they were interested in a free agent, it would make sense with Littleton because he is versatile. And Pete, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat, bends the knees. He says, do you think Leo Williams will get tagged only up to 11:59 tomorrow? Do I think that he will get tagged only up to 11:59 tomorrow? And thanks again for the love, man. I don't. I think if he was going to be tagged, he'd be tagged already. I don't think this is one of those things. The Giants knew this was going to happen. Now, the one thing we've read, I don't remember the details, but the one thing we've read about Leonard Williams is that there's some kind of provision in that trade where if the Giants wait, I think till the 18th, if I'm not mistaken, they don't have to give up the 4th. They'd have to give up the 5th. So it's possible they have I know that was a bogus rumor on Twitter, but it would make sense. It is possible maybe they have a handshake that they plan to sign a deal on the 15th, but or the 18th rather. But I don't think he's going to be tagged. I think he would have been tagged already if I had to guess. There's been a lot of players tagged already, and I don't think the New York Giants would let that come down to the last couple of hours. But they could, but I'd be surprised at this point in time. Yeah, McCourty got signed, man. Could you read my last? Mike, just type it again, man. I can't. Everybody's going to ask me to read their last comment, so I'm just going to read them as I see them, and if I see it, I'll read it, and I'll try to get to everybody's, when I can. Please don't re-sign Golden. I'm with you, Paul. Paul, I said that like 3 months ago. I said that in season, and people killed me for it. I got killed for saying that and I like Marcus Golden. I was very much in favor of bringing him in here. I got killed like week 10, 12, 11. I said that if I was the Giants, I would think long and hard not bringing back Marcus Golden, especially for that exact reason. He's a system player. You brought him in here for the James Bettcher defense. He's now going to get paid $13 million a year. He has an injury history. I would not bring back Marcus Golden. I'm not trying to rag on Marcus Golden. He was very successful for the New York Giants, but I do not think it's in the team's best interest. Andrew Christopher, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. He says, hi. Hi, what's up, my man? Andrew Christopher is the best, man. Opinion on Christian Kirksey. Christian Kirksey is a very talented middle linebacker from the Cleveland Browns. He's been banged up, I think, the last 2 years. I don't know the injuries coming off him, but he's been banged up. That's the only reason why he was cut. I definitely think he's a guy worth looking at, and he's pretty athletic from what I remember back in the day. I think he's probably 28, 29. He does have an injury history, but maybe similar to what we did with a guy like John Beeson, short-term deal, take a shot on him. Definitely was a very talented linebacker, at one point in time. Definitely worth a look. Independent Outsider, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, if we aren't looking at an O-lineman at number 4, anyone stick out in the 2nd or 3rd rounds, and are there any good blocking tight ends or fullbacks that the Giants could pick up? To be completely honest with you, with the tight ends and fullbacks, I haven't done enough research on that in terms of the late rounds. I know like the Komet guy is probably the most talked about tight end, but I don't think Giants are taking him. He'd be like round 2. As far as the O-lineman, I mean, you would hope a guy like Josh Jones would fall to you in round 2. You'd hope Austin Jackson. There's a number of top-tier centers like Cesar Ruiz. Could be a second-round pick. You've got the kid from Wisconsin, Biadish. I think you're looking at center. I think you're going to get very good value at center if you're going offensive line in the 2nd round. Tackle, I'd be surprised if a guy like Josh Jones is there. Austin Jackson might not even be there. If you're looking for value on the offensive line in round 2, I think you're going center, actually. Round 3 as well. Biadish could fall there in round 3. But I don't think you're going to get much value at the tackle position outside of round 1. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Last year, there was a number of tackles that went much further in the draft than we thought they would. Juwan Taylor's a perfect example. So anything could happen on draft night. But I would say center if you're looking round 2 on the offensive line. David Bigelow, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, good defensive free agent class, not much on the offensive side. Not too many O-linemen, so keeping Solder. What offensive tackle not named Conklin would you pursue? Great question. Well, the big name if we're talking tackle, obviously there's a couple of good centers, but if we're talking tackle, Bulaga's the next biggest name, but he's old. He's up there in age. I'm not in love with Bulaga because he's like 31. He's probably going to be $14 million based on the contract that went out today to Costanzo. There's not a lot of great tackles out there. There's a couple we've been linked to, but there's nobody that's going to blow your doors off. And one guy I mentioned in one of my videos in terms of value, offensive tackle, is Darrell Williams, the guy we were interested in last year from the Carolina Panthers who was drafted by Dave Gettleman. And, when he was with the Panthers, he might be a guy you want to look at. He's got some versatility. He's played around the offensive line. You're getting him on a bargain. You probably get him for $6 million. The guy's been banged up 2 years ago. He was somewhat underwhelming this year, but he was very talented before the injury. So maybe he's worth a flyer. You bring a guy like that in if you're looking for a bargain offensive tackle. There's a number of others that I'm sure people could bring up, but Bulaga is probably the next biggest name after Conklin on the offensive tackle position. Oh, man, Argenis, man, thanks so much for the love, man. And I'll try to get to everybody's question, by the way, guys. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. $5 super chat. He says, from what I'm hearing, Tua's medical is looking good, So number 2 and Stafford wants out. So maybe number 3 and Young could fall to us. That is the that is the situation that a lot of New York Giants fans have talked about. Being a possibility, the dream. One thing I will say, that is, and I don't think it'll ever happen. I think Chase Young is going to Washington. But that is the only way it could possibly happen, in my opinion. The only way, the 0.5% chance that Chase Young could fall to the New York Giants, the Washington Redskins would have to take Tua, which I will not completely rule out. I think I was a little... I think I jumped the gun a little bit on that. I still think it's an incredible... It's not going to happen, in my opinion, but I would give it a slight possibility. Redskins would have to take Tua, and the Lions would have to trade out with one of those teams that are nervous that need a quarterback. They jump up to 3, take the quarterback. That's the only way it could happen. You would need 3 quarterbacks to go in the first 3 picks, or the Lions would have to take a quarterback. I don't see it happening. I'd be shocked. Don't expect Chase Young. I don't want Giants fans to get their hopes up. And Slab on my Broccoli Rob with the $5 super chat. He says, let Williams and Golden walk, sign McGovern, Darrell Williams, Dante Fowler, Van Noy, and Kendall Fuller. Draft Jeff Okudah. Boom! Giants transform. Slob on my Broccoli Rob is him and Barboski are the 2 biggest Jeff Okudah fans on my channel. You guys are great. You guys love the corner. Hey, man, I've been outspoken, not to pick Okudah, but I've been outspoken to not ignore Okudah. Still wouldn't be my choice, but I would not be upset if we took him. I do recognize the importance of having a great cornerback. And in that plan, if you let Williams walk, if you let Golden walk, if you sign... McGovern's one of my favorite free agents. That is a guy that the New York Giants should have their eyes on. If you could get him for $10 million, you're getting a good center. The guy didn't allow a sack last year, I think. Maybe 1. I think he had 1 penalty or no sacks, or 1 sack and no penalties. I did a video on it the other day. Really talented center, still young. McGovern, the Giants should absolutely have their eyes on. If you got him, you got Darrell Williams. Maybe that's the way you fill in your offensive line for a year. I still think we need to get Young on that offensive line. Dante Fowler's got very high upside. I'm a fan of him as well, depending on the price. I think Van Noy, I would say at least 50% chance will be a Giant. I think he fits what we're trying to do. And Kendall Fuller, I'm a huge fan of. I think he's going to be a Redskin, though, if I had to guess. I've read rumors that he came up with the Redskins. He played at Virginia Tech. There's rumors that he might want to go back there. If I had to guess, he'll be a Redskin, but I'd welcome Kendall Fuller with open arms. And thank you guys so much for the love, man. I appreciate it. Camps with the $5 super chat. What corner do you think the Giants should grab in free agency? By the way, love your vids. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Listen, man, I'd probably say Kendall Fuller based on value. It depends on what you're getting him for, but Kendall Fuller is one of the best slot corners in the league. I've said it time and time again in my videos that guarding the slot wide receiver, guarding the tight end is so incredibly important. And if you get a top-tier slot corner at a moderate price, it's probably the way to go. Because as much as I like Byron Jones and he would help us, he's going to cost you $18 million. You have to ask yourself, is he worth that? I'm not going to cry if we get Byron Jones. He would definitely help our secondary. But I would probably go for the mid-tier, Chris Harris Jr. possibly as well, a veteran slot corner, someone like that. That's just me, though. I know some people would be all about Byron Jones. Thank you again, man. Argenis, man, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, I personally think Tua can be taken at 2 because he was an owner pick. Redskin signing Riverboat had to have come with control to the roster. And when I thought about it, I still think it's a very small possibility, but you're right, because Riverboat Ron was not there when they drafted Haskins. The quarterback is what his job depends on. If he does not think Haskins is the guy, he doesn't know when the Redskins are going to be picking there again. And if he is completely sold that Haskins is not the guy, then maybe we'll take Tua. But my question to him at this point is this. You took that job not knowing Tua's medical background, so you didn't know what was going to happen with Tua, and you took the job knowing Haskins was your quarterback. So that's the question I have. I don't know, but we could hope. At the end of the day, we could hope, because I don't want Chase Young on the Washington Redskins, even if he doesn't end up with the Giants. And, oh, man, MYG31, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $1 super chat. He's got a channel, too, by the way. Go check him out. He frequently calls in. Sorry I don't have the call-in show tonight, guys. Anybody that wanted to call in, the phones weren't working. I'll try to do it on Tuesday. But Q&As are fun, too. I get to talk to you guys nonetheless. Sometimes it's better because you get to talk to the chat. Thank you so much, man. And Gil Soto with a $5 super chat. My first member ever. Always got to say that, man. First guy. I'll never forget that. My first member ever to my channel, man. Thanks so much for the love. And let's get to some of the questions now. Sorry, guys. You want Teddy Bridgewater? We are not getting Teddy Bridgewater, Bobby. Teddy Bridgewater wants $30 million. $30 million, Bobby. We're not getting Teddy Bridgewater. What's going on there, Stealth Raven? Hey, Chris, do you think Julian Love will be playing free safety or slot corner? I thought I heard the staff likes him as our free safety. If I had to guess, I think he's going to play a little bit of both. I think he'll play predominantly free safety. But I think with the versatility aspect, I think that in some packages they could be playing him in the slot corner. But I think his main role will be as a safety. Depending on what we do in the draft and free agency. But right now, I would say safety. Mizrahi, man, I have been on the Christian or no Collins tonight. It wasn't working. It's going to be a Q&A tonight. Sorry I didn't have a chance to change the title. I shifted into a Q&A. But I'll try to do a call-in on Tuesday. I was on the Addison train like a month ago, and I don't know if he's going to be available. But I haven't seen anything linked to the New York Giants. I haven't seen Addison linked to anybody. But I was doing my research, and I saw free agent pass rushers, and I see Mario Addison. I'm like, let me take a look at this guy. He's a little older, 32. You got a new coaching staff there, so maybe they don't want to bring him back. Guy's got 39 sacks over his last 4 years. If you could get him on a 2-year deal, I think he's worth a look. He's played both the outside linebacker and edge rusher. I'm a big fan of Mario Addison as a value signing if you could get him, for value. I do like Mario Addison as a cost-effective type signing. He's got production. Who knows what he's going to get on the open market, though. You could have a team that's desperate for a pass rusher. Oh, Raphael doing it, man. Thanks so much for the $1 super chat. I really appreciate that, my man. Jeff, man, I'm with you, man. Screw the coronavirus. Screw the coronavirus. At least we got something, and Raphael doing it, one of my best subscribers, man. Thank you. At least we got something to look forward to, man. At least we got something to look forward to with NFL free agency, and hopefully everybody's staying safe out there. Hopefully everybody's staying safe out there, but we just gotta be safe, man, and live your life, but be smart about it. And it'll be over before you know it, hopefully, and then we'll have baseball, football, basketball, everything will be back. Simmons slot corner, love. Simmons could do everything. That's what I like about Simmons. Entertain. If we could get him on a cheap, affordable deal, would you consider bringing in Jimmy Graham as a veteran? No. I've seen a couple of people not bring up Jimmy Graham specifically. I've seen people bring up veteran tight ends. No. No. First off, I think Ingram's going to be here. And Caden Smith is good enough. We don't need Jimmy Graham. I don't want to be spending money on tight ends. I don't want to be spending early draft picks on tight ends. We got much more important needs than a tight end. If Evan Ingram's healthy, I think he'll do fine with the New York Giants this year. Christian Orr says, the thing here, Chris, it will never end. The extinction of humans has come. What the hell are you talking about, Sonor? Let's see what we got here. Did you hear the draft will be delayed? I did not hear that, B-Man Entertainment. I heard rumors that it could be delayed. But I did not hear, there's no. From everything I'm hearing, it's still on point. The NFL is the only league that has not delayed anything. I mean, they delayed the owners' meetings, but the free agency still, obviously free agency, you don't got to meet anybody. You're not going to have big crowds. The NFL draft, if I had to guess, I don't think you're going to have a huge crowd. I think it'll be old school, but I do think it'll start when it's supposed to. Let's see what we got here. Who will be our backup running back? That's a great question, and they may go in the draft. There's a number of guys they could go with in the draft in the later rounds. And I will have my 7-round mock draft just for the New York Giants up after the after free agency. I've already started looking at the potential prospects that I would take in the later rounds. There's a couple running backs I've been looking at in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. They could go that route, or they could bring one in, or they could stick with what they got. Gallman's been underwhelming, though, in my opinion. I know some Giants fans have disagreed with that, and they say that they think Gallman's is good enough. A couple of guys I've mentioned, Jordan Howard's a name. I don't know if I don't know what his cost is going to be, but there's a couple of guys at free agency they could bring in as veterans. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Cruzon, man, thanks so much for the love, man. Cruzon is the man, dude. He is fully on board the offensive tackle train, and he says Zach Bourne will be better than Simmons. I am a huge fan of Zach Bourne, and Big Blue for Life put me onto him. Zach Bourne, if they get him in the 2nd round, I'm a big fan of Zach Bourne. I like his versatility. He is much like Van Noy, obviously a much younger version, but he's that type of player. I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that gets 15 sacks, but I think he can do everything. I think he's big. I think you can put him up at the line. I think you can drop him back in coverage. He's athletic enough to do a lot of things. I like Zach Bourne a lot as a 2nd-round draft prospect for sure. Big fan if he's there. Let's see what we got here. I think Wayne Gallman is a beast. He's like a lesser Saquon. Hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Some people like him. He's had fumbling problems. That's my biggest thing with him. That's my biggest knock on him. They don't use him. That's the other thing. That's not really his fault. But let's see what we got here. Who isn't a Zach Bowen fan? Joe Judge loves guys who play hard. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Zach Bowen. Let's see what we got here. Gallman is not. Let's see what we got. How do you feel about Julian Love going into next season? How do I feel about Julian Love going into next season? I thought Julian Love even said it, and I thought it was a really good point that Julian Love brought up. Julian Love last season didn't get to play like all the other rookies did initially. DeAndre Baker started right away. Dexter Lawrence started right away. All these guys started. Julian Love sat on the bench, learned the game. He didn't play till like week 12, and I think that had a lot to do with how well he played. Now, he definitely had some hiccups where he got beaten coverage, but I think the fact that he was able to sit on the bench, learn the game, learn how to play the right way, helped him a lot in his progression. And I like Julian Love. I think Julian Love's going to fit very nicely with the New York Giants, what they're looking to do from a versatility aspect. I think Julian Love's going to be a nice player for the Giants. If you go back to last year's draft, everybody had Julian Love as a second-round grade. They got him in the 4th round. I'm a big fan of Julian Love. I think he can be a good player. Let's see what we got here. Can we discuss wide receiver Chase Claypool a little bit? I don't know what it is. I must have a lot of Notre Dame fans as my subscribers. I like Notre Dame. Chase Claypool had a fantastic combine. Chase Claypool is tall. He is big. He's built like Evan Ingram. He's the same size, same weight. He's listed as a wide receiver. Some people have said he could play the tight end. I like Chase Claypool, but the problem with Chase Claypool, in my opinion, because of the combine that he had and the needs that the New York Giants have on their roster, I don't see the Giants taking a wide receiver in the 2nd round. I'd be surprised if Claypool gets to pick 100 or wherever we're picking, 99 or 100, wherever we're picking there with the comp pick. I don't think Claypool's going to be there when we pick in the 3rd, and I don't think we're taking a wide receiver in the 2nd round. But if we are taking a wide receiver in the 2nd round, I suppose Claypool is an option. I think he will be a 2nd-round pick. He could even sneak up into the back end of the 1st. I've seen some mocks where he goes 3rd, 4th round. I don't agree with it. I think he's going to go no later than mid to late 2nd round. He will be off the board. I don't think we're getting Claypool. XX with the $2 super chat. He says Van Noy and Wills/Thomas or Simmons and Conklin. That's a great question. Van Noy and we'll say the tackle of my choice, because I might actually prefer Wirfs of any of the tackles, or Simmons and Conklin. I think I got to go with Simmons and Conklin, man. But the thing with Conklin, obviously, is the money. He's going to tie $20 million against the cap. But I think I got to go with Simmons and Conklin. I do. I think I got to go with Simmons and Conklin there. And Cruzon, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. Zach Bowen or Ruiz in the 2nd round. Oh, you get me upset. You get me upset, Cruzon. You're getting me upset, because those are the 2 guys I would probably want the most in the 2nd round. Oh, man. I would love, like you said several times, to just focus on the defensive free agency, fill these holes, and then go tackle center first 2 picks. You got those 2 young offensive linemen for the next 10 years. I would love that. But I'll say this, if they go Simmons in the 1st, I want Ruiz in the 2nd, obviously. If they go tackle in the 1st, I'd probably want Bowen in the 2nd. But I do like Ruiz. I really do like Ruiz. And I would be tempted to just say, let's fix the offensive line right now so we don't got to worry about it for the next 5 drafts. I would be tempted, because I'm a big fan of Ruiz in the 2nd round. Let's see what we got here. What do you think of a prove-it deal with Carl Nassib? Yeah, one of my best subscribers has what's going on, Clocks? By the way, anybody coming in now, it's not a call-in show, it's a Q&A. But one of my best subscribers, Big Blue for Life, been with another guy. I always like to try to shout him out whenever I can. He's in my Discord. He's been with my channel since the beginning. He always brings up Nassib, and Nassib is an interesting guy. He had 6 sacks, I think, last year in a limited role with the Tampa Bay Bucks. And he's a guy that maybe you could bring in on the cheap, who could kind of do what Marcus Golden did last year. I don't know what he's going to go for, but he's an interesting guy that not a lot of people are talking about. A 2nd, 3rd tier type free agent that has some talent. A guy you want to keep your eye on. Nassib is definitely an interesting possibility that I have not mentioned, but I've thought about him in the last couple of days. Carl Nassib could be a target for the Giants. Let's see what we got here. Huge fan of the channel, man. I think our first two picks need to be tackle and linebacker. I don't know in which order, but I think we need young talent in those positions. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I think most people would agree with that in one way or the other. You know, some people are going to say Simmons, then the tackle. Some people are going to say the tackle, then the linebacker. But I agree with you. I would say most people, depending on what we do in free agency, but most people would be in agreement with you, at least with the roster as currently constructed. That should be the two areas of emphasis, is the tackle and the linebacker. I agree with you. Yeah, Nassib is a rotation guy, but he's a rotation guy that you would pay as a rotation guy. You bring him in with guys like Zimenez. He's not going to be a huge impact guy, but you're not going to pay him at that rate. He's definitely an interesting potential prospect. Chris, how much do you think Oshane Zimenez will improve next year? I like Oshane Zimenez, and I've had a couple of my subscribers compare him to Justin Tuck. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. But I do like Oshane Zimenez. I do think he's got upside. And he's another guy who's versatile. You know, he played the 4-3 in college. He's demonstrated he could play the 3-4 outside linebacker for the Giants. I think Zimenez could take a jump. I think he's definitely... Let's put it this way. I think coming into the pros, Zimenez was more of a ready player than Lorenzo Carter. I think Carter probably has a higher ceiling, but I think Zimenez has a much higher floor. Cruz, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. He says, I think people are overrating Simmons. Good night, stay safe, and most importantly, don't forget to wash your hands. You too, Gerald. I think Simmons is a great player. I think he's gonna be a very good player. But I do think that Giants fans have gotten to the point where they're like, there's some part of the fan base that doesn't want to even think about anything else but Simmons because they're so starving for a linebacker. I do think that tackle is definitely a strong possibility there for the Giants. But from what I'm hearing, take it for what it will. I haven't made a video on it yet, but from what I'm hearing right now, expect Simmons to be a New York Giants at number 4. You didn't hear it from anybody but me. That's all I'm saying. Do you like Unique in a trade? It depends on the price, Emmanuel. It depends on the price, Ngakoue. If it's going to be like, it depends on the price. I would prefer not to because you're adding $22 million and you're giving away assets. I don't think the Giants could afford to give away draft capital. I wouldn't be upset if it was a reasonable price tag, though. Let's see what we got here. Chris, would you want Thomas Davis on a cheap deal? He led the what's up, Chris Leone? Rob, but thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says Getty needs to wake up. Well, free agency starts tomorrow, so hopefully he does. Chris, would you want Thomas Davis on a cheap deal? I do not actually. So I'm not a fan of. Thomas Davis was a great player, especially when he was with the Carolina Panthers. And Rob's awesome, by the way. Great subscriber of mine. Always makes me laugh with his comments. Nah, he's too old, man. I'm not a fan of Thomas Davis. He's too old, but he was a great player with the Panthers back in the day. Hey, Chris, would you be interested in Williamson? He's great against the run, against cost much. Maybe send a late pick or a swap pick for the Jets to move up a few spots. Huh. Nah, I haven't thought about it. Maybe. I'm curious to see what your Jets... I think the Jets are going to go tackle, if I had to guess. Some people have had them going wide receiver. I think they're going to go tackle. Oh, Diffron Demonic, man. Thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, Simmons or a trade with the Raiders for picks 12 and 19 with a future pick. First off, my first question is, what's that future pick? But me personally, some people aren't going to want to hear it. You know, I know there's a lot of Simmons or nothing people, and I get it. Simmons is going to be a good talent, great talent. I'm taking 12 and 19. Because at 12 and 19 and the pick, let's say a future third, I get my offensive tackle at 12, and then I could get an impact defensive player at 19 and have a future third round pick. And still be picking at 37. So I would take the trade, personally, if it was Simmons or that. Oh, man, thank you so much, man. Sick Assassin with the $5 super chat. He says, hey, man, I love your videos. You never fail to keep us up to date. I would love... What's up, Jeremy Maynard, man? Glad to see you in here, man. I don't think he's being overhyped, Jeremy. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be very good. I just think we have a lot of needs on the football team, but I'm not going to be upset if we draft him. Trust me. Love your videos. Never fail to keep us up to date. I would love to see Simmons in blue. Go, G-Man. Keep up the great work, brother. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, man. And thank you for being a great subscriber, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, man. I think you're going to get your wish. You know, I think all the people that want Simmons at the end of the day, If I had to guess right now, in my opinion, could change in a month. And what does my opinion mean? It means nothing. I didn't think Daniel Jones was going 6, but I think Simmons is going to be a Giant. We'll see. He could go number 3 to the Lions, but I think he's going to be a Giant. What would you rather, Littleton and offensive tackle of your choice, or Conklin and Simmons / Okuda? Littleton and offensive tackle of your choice. I would probably go with Conklin and the defensive player, but I don't think we're getting Conklin. That's the thing. There's going to be 8 teams interested in Jack Conklin. I just don't think we're going to get him. I don't think the Giants are going to be willing to spend $20 million when they spent $19 million already on Nate Solder. They got money invested in Zeitler. If it was going to be 15, 16, I thought Conklin was a distinct possibility. $20 million, I could be wrong. But I don't think the Giants are going to get him. Dak just want to get out of the Cowgirls. Dak, let's talk about Dak for a second. Let's talk about Dak. Ryan freaking Tannehill today got paid $30 million a year. Ryan Tannehill was like a season away from starting in the XFL this year. He got paid $30 million a year. What do you think Dak is going to get? What do you think Dak's going to get? I can't wait to see this figure. I'm hoping he gets $38 million. Let's go. Jack the price up. Let's go. Jack the price up. Do you think analysts like PFF sleep on Daniel Jones? Well, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. PFF hates Daniel Jones. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Do you think the Giants will cut Cody Lattimore? Well, they wouldn't cut him. He's a free agent. And I could see it happening. I could see it happening. Because, if I had to guess, I would say he will be cut. I could be wrong. He does fit. He's kind of tall, but I don't think he's going to be back. I could be wrong. I think they elect to keep Coleman. I think they elect to keep Cody Core. I think they'll draft a wide receiver. I could be wrong, though. Oh, man, thank you so much, Watch Doctor, with the $2 super chat. He says, keep drinking H2O, a little for the Purell fund. And I'm going to need it, man. There are so many people. You go to the supermarket, there are so many people pulling these things off the shelves, the Purell, the water bottles. There was one guy, somebody showed me off of YouTube, that was hoarding. He had like $18,000 worth of water and everything else that he was going to sell to people. People are crazy, man. Be safe out there. What's happening with Bethea? If I had to guess, at this point in time, he might be a New York Giant. I thought that they were going to cut him a while ago. I think he's going to be a New York Giant. By the way, anybody tuning in, this is not a call-in show. This is a Q&A, but I appreciate everybody being here. The lines were not working properly, so it's a hangout. You guys are asking me questions. We're talking draft. We're talking free agency. We're talking New York Giants football. Cruz on, man. Thanks so much for the love, man. I appreciate that, man. $2 super chat. Target and Walmart had no toilet paper. Yeah, I know. I went there today because I said I only got 6 rolls left. And there's nothing there. There's nothing there. You can't get you can't get anything. Vikes free agent Harris for the Giants. He's an interesting prospect that a lot of people have slept on. He very good safety. I think that's what you're talking about. He's going to get paid, but I doubt it. But he's very talented. You never know. Very good player, though. Very underrated. He's going to get a lot. Chris, does the bulk of the action in free agency happen in the tampering period or start of free agency? I think you're going to start to hear information leak tomorrow. The day after, you might even hear more leak. You're going to know the big names, in my opinion, before Wednesday. I think we're going to know most of the big names by Tuesday. That's what happened last year. Now, every year is different, but I think by Tuesday, you'll know the big names. You're going to know where Clowney's going. You're going to know Byron Jones. You'll know the big names. Amari Cooper, Tom Brady. Maybe not Brady, but most of the big names you'll know. What do you think of Corey Coleman? I would bring back Corey Coleman. I would give Corey Coleman a 1-year prove-it contract. He showed that he was great as a kick return specialist. I think he's got upside if he can stay healthy. I would bring back Corey Coleman. I think he's worth a shot on a 1-year prove-it contract. Whitney, how you been, Whitney? Thanks for popping in. New Jersey Jake. Who are some of the... Jake's the man, by the way. Who are some free agents that we're not talking about that you think could be a good signing? Yeah, I'm sure you're talking about, like... Well, I mean, I brought up a few. Mary Addison, Darrell Williams, the Perryman, if you're going wide receiver, is a guy that I really think would fit us really nicely. There's a couple of depth guards and centers. I don't remember the names off the top of my head that I've looked at. As guys that you bring as backups, but those aren't guys that people really want to talk about. In terms of starters, I think I've gone over a lot of the guys that are smaller tier guys that aren't the biggest names that maybe the New York Giants could look to bring in at most positions. I could see them bringing in Perryman, though, at the wide receiver position. But the thing is, I think a lot of teams are going to look at Perryman as a guy that they could bring in on a $7 million contract. So that's why I don't know if we're going to get him. But I think if they were going to go wide receiver, that's the guy I'd be interested in. Let's see what we got here. Chris, who will be the best quarterback in the NFC East in 3 years? All right, Slava my broccoli, Rob. I'm going to answer that question with a question back to you. Which one of those teams is going to have the best offensive line? Because whoever has the best offensive line, in my opinion, will have the best quarterback. Outside of probably the Redskins. I don't really believe in Dwayne Haskins anymore, but if he is the quarterback. So either Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, whoever has the best offensive line will be the best quarterback. I think I don't think anyone is so much more supremely talented than the other. I would say Carson Wentz probably has the most God-given ability, but he has injury problems. Whoever has the best offensive line is going to be the best quarterback in 3 years. That's my answer. Let's see what we got here. Just pure talent. If Wentz is healthy, I would say Wentz. But I would guess Wentz will not remain healthy. He's had a severe injury history. I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna say Daniel Jones. I'm gonna be a homer. PFF thinks wide receiver is more talented than pass rusher. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So the follow-up, who do you think is going to have the best offensive line? That's a great question. Right now, obviously, I would say the Dallas Cowboys, have the best, but those guys are going to be a little bit older. You're going to see Travis Frederick a little, those guys are going to be getting older. You're going to start paying guys like Dak. Maybe they're not able to sustain that offensive line. I do think the Giants are going to pay a lot of attention to that over the next 2 or 3 years. You have Gettleman, you got Garrett, who paid a lot of attention with the Cowboys. I think the Giants' offensive line will be one of the best in the division in 2 or 3 years. I really do believe that. I could be wrong, but I do think that. I think the Giants will definitely be in contention to have one of the better offensive lines in the division in 2 or 3 years. Oh, Ryan, man, thanks so much, man, for the $5 super chat, man. I really appreciate that, man. Do you have your eye on any under-the-radar free agents that can be signed at a low price but feel will make an impact? Mine is the linebacker Correa. Thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that, and thank you for the comment today on fixing my mistake on the video. In terms of I don't know how under the radar you're talking about. The one guy I keep saying, Williams, the tackle, is a guy. I don't know how under the radar that is. In terms of, the wide receiver, I brought up Perryman. I don't even know if he's really under the radar at this point. I'm trying to think of some defensive players that are would really be under the radar at the corner. Chris Harris is a veteran, but he's not really under the radar. He's very well known. There's no real offensive linemen that really stick out to me that are under the radar. I like Schobert, but he's pretty well known as a linebacker, and I don't think the New York Giants are going to bring him in. It's a great question. Off the top of my head, I don't have a super sleeper that I'm looking at. There's a couple of guys, but I'd have to look at my notes that I've wrote down that are $3-4 million guys, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. But those are some of the second and third tier guys that I'd be looking at. Yes, that's another Yvonne. There's another guy. A lot of people like Poole, the slot corner from the New York Jets. Mike Too Nice brought him up originally. A lot of my subscribers have mentioned him. He's an under-the-radar guy, but I don't know how much he's going to go for. He might get $7-8 million. But there's another guy, for sure. Fuller's another guy, but he's going to go for more. Slot corner, they could definitely attack slot corner. Chris, what do you think is the likelihood we get Clowney? I'll go 35%. I would have said 50% a couple of days ago. I'm going to go 35% now. I've definitely lessened my percentage, but I definitely think it's still a distinct possibility. Emmanuel Ogbah, that's a guy that a lot of people have as a sleeper. Not a guy that's going to really get a ton of sacks, but he's an interesting guy that a lot of people have talked about. Mario Addison's a guy I've said, but he's a well-known name. He's a veteran. That's a guy I've had my eye on. What's his name? The guy that used to play for the Patriots and the Browns, the edge rusher. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that was another guy that a lot of people like that's kind of like a cheap guy. He's not great. I can't remember his name. He's a pass rusher. He's another one. Let's see what we got here. Remmers is gone. Shaq Barrett's going to stay. I think they franchise tag Shaq Barrett, if I'm not mistaken, Tampa Bay. I could be wrong on that, though. I think I heard that. Jamie Collins is another guy we could be looking at for sure. Funchess is another guy, wide receiver. We mentioned him earlier. How do you feel about bringing back Prince Amukamara as at a low price range? It's got to be really low. Prince Amukamara is a veteran and he's available for a reason. Now, part of that has to do with the fact that the Chicago Bears defense is, it regressed a lot last year, so that didn't help them. But Prince Amukamara to me is not a guy that's going to have a gigantic impact on that secondary. He's a guy that you can stick in there. He brings some leadership. He's not going to make a huge impact for the New York Giants. But if it's a really cheap contract, why not? But it's not a guy I'm going to get excited about, that's for sure. Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson, another interesting name. The Giants were linked to him with the Eagles like a month ago, the guy from the Chiefs. If the price is right. If you could get him for $5-6 million, which maybe you can, maybe. He's a guy that can take the top off the defense. Big play wide receiver. Maybe worth a shot there. I would rather some of the other guys we've mentioned, but for the right price, I could see the New York Giants maybe being interested in him for the right price. Tag Williams or Golden? I would not. I would not. If I'm going to tag one, I guess it would be Williams. I would not tag Golden. Golden's going to get tagged as an edge rusher. Edge rusher is going to go for what? I mean, it's insane. With Williams, you'd be tagged at least as an interior defensive lineman. Edge rusher, I forgot what the number is, but it's like, $18, $19 million, something like that. So they're not going to tag Marcus Golden. If they were going to tag anybody, it would be Leonard Williams. But I don't think they're tagging either one. The deadline's in 12 hours, 14 hours. So I'd be surprised if they tag either one. But if they do tag one, I think it'll be Leonard Williams. Let's see what we got here. What is the chance the Giants get Amari Cooper? 5%. Amari Cooper, in my opinion, is probably going to be back with the Dallas Cowboys. And if he's not, I don't see the Giants spending $20 million a year on a wide receiver. They've already invested like $20 between Tate and Shepard. I don't think they're going to invest $40 million, which would be 20% of their cap, on 3 wide receivers. I don't think that will happen. I don't see it. But he could be back with the Cowboys. Who knows? There are rumors that he might actually hit the open market and sign somewhere else, but I don't think it'll be the Giants. Case Keenum as a backup is interesting. Chris, I think we need to up the talent at backup quarterback. How about Mariota? A lot of people have brought up Mariota, Jeremy, and here's the thing with Mariota. A lot of people have brought him up. If I'm Marcus Mariota, thinking from his perspective, I don't think the Giants are the team I want to go to because I want to get an opportunity to at least either get a chance to compete to start or, go to a team where I really do feel like if the guy struggles, I'm gonna get the jump in. A team like the Chicago Bears, for example, I think is a really good fit for Marcus Mariota. I don't know if he's been linked there because Marcus Mariota, he could look at these other quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater got a chance to start. Now he's going to get paid. Ryan Tannehill got a chance to start. Now he's going to get paid. If I'm going to the Giants, I'm a backup. The only way I'm playing is if Daniel Jones goes down with an injury. If I'm him, I'd much rather get an opportunity to either A, compete for a starting job, B, mentor a rookie quarterback like with the Bengals or somewhere like that, or C, go to a place where I could see a guy like Trubisky falling down and stepping in and becoming the starter. I don't see that being a fit with the New York Giants. That's why I really don't see it. But I could be wrong. And Cruzon, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. He says, what percentage of the Giants fans are Madden players? I play Madden occasionally. It's incredibly rare. That's one thing I'll probably get up on the channel in a couple of months because I've had a lot of my subscribers ask me to play Madden and do the franchise thing and all that. The rebuild. So I'll probably start to do that maybe in 5-6 months, whatever it is, and maybe just play with my subscribers in my Discord every now and again. I haven't played Madden in a while, but I do like Madden. I'll definitely get the new Madden when it comes out. But I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the love, man. And Rickson, man. Rickson, how you been, buddy, man? Great subscriber of mine. $5 super chat. He says, I was watching film on Clowney and Unique. I think Marcus Golden is more productive than both. However, Clowney is more versatile and great on the run. Marcus Golden had a great year. Marcus Golden had a great year for the Giants last year. And like I always say, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not the biggest fan of Marcus Golden for the price I think he's going to command, and I don't view him as a versatile player. Joe Judge wants versatile players. Jadeveon Clowney's much more versatile. Unique's kind of one-dimensional, kind of like Golden. Unique, to me, has a much higher upside. He's younger. doesn't carry the same injury history. I think he led the league in pressures 2 years ago. One crazy stat about Yannick Ngakoue that I read, I couldn't believe this. I read this on Twitter today. Since Yannick Ngakoue has been with the Jaguars, which has been like 4 years, they've had 11 or 12, I think it was 11 defensive touchdowns. He's responsible for 6 of them. Whether it was he scored, whether it was he caused the fumble, a pick 6, he picked up a fumble. He was in some way, shape, or form responsible for 6 of the 11 Jaguars defensive touchdowns since he's been with the team. So Yannick's a playmaker. He's also great at stripping the quarterback. That's why I frequently compare him to Osi Umenyiora. I would much prefer those two if the price was the same, for all 3. But I'm not trying to knock Golden. Golden's a good player. Cruz on with the $2 super chat. He says people that want Simmons are Madden players. Well, in that case, 85% of Giants fans are Madden players. Cruz on 85%. Matter of fact, I got to run that poll in my community notes tomorrow. I got to run that poll. I got to get an updated take on the Giants fan base when it comes to drafting Isaiah Simmons or drafting someone else. Chris, how would you rank the top 4 offensive linemen in the draft? People ask me this all the time. And it's so close because they're all really talented and they all have different strengths and weaknesses. Oh man, I'm leaning Wirfs right now. I am leaning Wirfs right now as my number 1. I am, and I know he's not a left tackle, and I know some people think he's going to be best suited at a guard. But I look at Wirfs' athletic ability. I think he's the safest. Even if you got to move him to guard in 2 years, I am sure that Wirfs is going to be a very good offensive lineman. And I look at the new NFL. You want very athletic offensive linemen, guys that can get out in front of the running back on hitch, runs to the outside on screen passes, things like that. Wirfs can do that. Wirfs is an athletic freak. I would have Wirfs as 1 right now. And then it's kind of really close, man. I really like all the other 3 a lot too, man. I like Jedrick Wills a lot. People complain about the penalties with him, and he's a right tackle. Andrew Thomas is safe. He's secure. He's steady. He's been the consensus number 1 left tackle for a while. Andrew Thomas is really good too. And Becton, of course, that huge opposing force. But if I had to rank them right now, I'd probably have Wirfs 1, Wills 2, Thomas 3, Becton 4. But I could change my mind. I could have Becton 1 on draft night. It's that close. But I do like Wirfs a lot. I know we need a left tackle. I know we need a left tackle. I get it. I get it. We need an offensive line though, and I want them to take the best offensive lineman. Our whole offensive line outside of really Zeitler, Hernandez didn't prove much last year. Is not that good. So I want them to take who they think is the best offensive lineman if they trade down. Now I completely understand the mindset of left tackle is the most important. And yeah, but if there's a guy that you feel is much better that's not a left tackle, I think you need to do that. You don't want to have a bust either if you go offensive line. But if they feel Andrew Thomas is great, by all means take him. Or Becton, by all means. I'm not going to cry on draft night if they take any one of those 4. I'm going to trust Gettleman. I'm going to trust Judge in their evaluation that is the best offensive lineman for the football team. So yeah, I completely get the mindset left tackle though. Let's see what we got here. Love Wirfs, explosiveness works with Barkley, but still prefer Simmons or trade down. I hear you, Jeremy. I hear you, man. I would prefer a trade down. Let me be clear with that, by the way, Jeremy and everybody. I would prefer a trade down if we're taking an offensive lineman. I would prefer a trade down. Not at 4. I would prefer to trade down. And Cruzon, thanks so much for the love, man. Wirfs is too athletic to not play on the outside. I think he's going to be a right tackle. I think he's going to be fine as a right tackle. I don't believe in the hype. I think he'll be a right tackle. I don't know if he'll be a left tackle, but I think he'll be a right tackle. And thanks for the love, man. Would you mind Gates as our center? The thing with Gates, and I made a video on that, I don't remember, like 2-3 months ago. A lot of my subscribers pointed out to me, and they brought up a great point. Gates is too tall to play center. He's 6'7", 6'6". Usually you want your center to be about 6'3", 6'2", maybe 6'4". He's too tall. You want your center to be lower to the ground. So I don't think Gates could be a center. But I do like Gates. I think Gates is a very nice piece on the bench that can come in and play a variety of positions. If somebody goes down, you could put Gates at the left guard, the left tackle, the right tackle. I don't think he's a center. But in an ideal world, I would like Gates to be that first guy off the bench. That jack of all trades guy that could fill in for any type of guy if he goes down with an injury. That's what I view him as. What's going on, New York for Life? 12 days popping in, man. Chase Claypool. Everybody asked me about Chase Claypool. How's it going, Tana? I heard about trading Ingram for a second round. Where'd you hear that? Where did you hear that? Because I'd like to know that news. I would not be opposed to that. Where'd you hear that? No, I do not want RG3. He's too injury prone. Yeah, he's a great. I'm not a fan of Benny Fowler, but they might bring him back. I want Alonzo Russell as a tall red zone threat. Benny Fowler is like one of those guys that every year you're like, I don't think he's gonna make the team, and then he somehow makes the team, or he competes till the end. Yeah, I mean Fowler's just kind of like a blah receiver. He's kind of like what we already have. I mean, he's a slot guy that's like Tate and Shepard. Yeah, I'd much rather. Now, the interesting thing is we got some guys on the practice squad that a lot of people were interested in at the wide receiver position last year that maybe could crack the team as well. You got Reggie White Jr. and you got the quarterback, Sills, I think his last name is, David Sills. So maybe one of those guys could get a role as well. But I don't want Benny Fowler back. New York Life, man. Thank you so much, man. Great subscriber of mine. $2 super chat. He says, quick question. Can I travel to New York City next month? Oh, man. If I had to guess, right now, today, I would say probably not. I think they're being really strict with this, specifically in the city. Anywhere where it's a really populated, condensed area. I could be wrong. Maybe this is out of the way in 3 weeks. I think it's going to be a little longer than that. I could be wrong. I mean, he did say it was like a month travel ban, right? I mean, I hope, man. I hope everything's good, man. I hope it's good tomorrow. I hope it's good tomorrow, but I think it's going to be a little longer. Entertain protect us from Corona. What's going on? Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. I appreciate, man. You guys are the best subscribers on YouTube. I say it all the time. Thank you guys for all your love and support on the channel. Sorry I couldn't get the call going tonight. Phones weren't working, but I'll try to get that up Tuesday. But I'm having a lot of fun talking to you guys. I've been talking to you guys now for, I don't know, about an hour and 10, 20 minutes. I'll talk with you guys all night. This is fun, man. I'm having a lot of fun with you guys tonight. I think Trayvon Diggs is a valuable pick in the second round. Could possibly be a steal. Can't always draft for need. I think cornerback is a need. I just don't think it's, maybe our biggest need, but I think it is one of our 4 or 5 biggest needs. I don't trust our cornerbacks yet. I think they have upside, but we don't know what we got yet. I like Trayvon Diggs. He's definitely a possibility in the second round. Don't rule that out. I'm a fan of Trayvon Diggs. Cruz, I think he's going to go in the first round, though. Cruz on $2 super chat. He says they need to put a cap on quarterback contracts. Ridiculous. Cruz on, man, you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir. I've been saying that now since I got on YouTube. The quarterback market is insane. It is the only position in sports. Well, think about this. It is the only position in sports where you could do what Ryan Tannehill did and get paid almost as much as anybody else in the sport. It's crazy. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, perfect example. And obviously his team went to the Super Bowl, but San Francisco didn't know that. Jimmy Garoppolo played like 5 games. He was like the highest paid quarterback in the sport. Or one of them when they signed him. And I get the market. I get how that works. But when you pay these mediocre quarterbacks money like that, what do you think's going to happen when Daniel Jones becomes a free agent? Dak Prescott. It is going to be crazy. And I get pissed off when I see quarterbacks like Ryan Tannehill sign for $30 million. I'm going to get pissed off. Well, not pissed off because he's a Cowboy. But when Dak signs for $38 million, the market's just going to be insane. And I agree with you. There should be a cap on positions or something. I don't know. But the quarterback market is outrageous. And I get that it's the most important position. Slot my Brocker Rob, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, did you see Brett Coleman's vid about Wills versus Wirfs? I did not. He has a terrific channel, though. I remember, I've watched several of his videos. He's got a great channel, and I will check that out. I've watched a lot of Vach Lombardi's videos on the offensive line, but I will check that out. I didn't know he made that. Brett Coleman is fantastic. Anybody that's a football fan that is not subscribed to Brett Coleman, you should do it. He's great. That's one guy I would love to work with one day. He says, did you see Brett Coleman's vid about Wills versus Wirfs? Wills is the better prospect. He is damn near perfect. Listen, man, I like Wills too, man. I've watched some film on Wills. That's why I had him mock to the Giants in my first mock draft at number 4. I like Wills a lot. A lot of people like Wills. Listen, I'd be happy with Wills or Wirfs. That's my 1-2 right now. Rickson, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. He says, you're right. Cut Solder, Simmons, and draft offensive line 2 to 4. Hey, man, I'm an old school mindset, man. I am not going to be upset. I am not going to be upset with a lot of hog mollies. I'm not going to be upset, man. I want to get the offensive line fixed as soon as possible. I want to have a young, emerging offensive line with a young, emerging quarterback. And we need to fix the defense at the same time. I always say that. Defense is incredibly important too. And we need to do both. But we definitely need to get the offensive line going, man. We got to get those hogs. Should the Giants move Evan Ingram to wide receiver and let Caden Smith start at tight end? Good question. Yeah, I know Becton's a left tackle, man. I know Becton's a left tackle. That's one suggestion since I've been on YouTube that people have brought up to me about Evan Ingram as well. And maybe it's something that the New York Giants will experiment with. Maybe. If I'm Evan Ingram, personally, thinking about it from a monetary value, I want to stay at tight end. I'm going to tell you why. Because if he could perform, if he could do what he's capable of doing, if he ever stays healthy as a top-tier tight end, he's going to get paid a hell of a lot more than he's going to get paid if he transfers to wide receiver. Because in my opinion, Evan Ingram as a wide receiver would be a run-of-the-mill wide receiver. He'd be pretty good, maybe. And he'd get paid as such. But if he's an elite tight end, that's why I think his earning potential is much higher as a tight end. He also presents gigantic mismatches at that position when he's healthy, because linebackers can't guard him. When he goes up on the outside, suddenly he's not a mismatch. So I still think, I know he's got injury history, and if the Giants feel like that's the best they could get out of him, by all means, do it. It's something that a lot of people have talked about. Maybe the Giants will do that. We'll wait and see, man. He could just be one of those players that gets hurt no matter what, but, we'll wait and see. But a lot of people have brought that up as a suggestion. Malik with the $2 super chat, he says, hey, I just woke up wanting for you. I just woke up wanting for you, Chase Claypool. You love Chase Claypool. Everybody loves Chase Claypool. I like Chase Claypool. I just don't think we're going to take him where he's going to go. I think he's going to go in the second round. But we'll see, man. Chase Claypool is definitely an interesting prospect. Thoughts on Logan Wilson or Isaiah Hodgins? I like Hodgins more. I have to do more research on the later rounds. I did watch, and by the way, anybody that is not subscribed to the Hub, go do it. That's Kashender. He's the guy. He's the guy that's on the Hub. He's got a great channel. He's putting in a lot of work. I'm gonna have my 7-round mock draft after free agency. He's had a couple already. He's doing a great job on his channel. Go check out the Hub. I want to have him back on the channel whenever I can. Great Giant fan. Great Giant channel. And thanks for the love, man. But yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna have to do a lot more homework on those later prospects. But you did a great job with your mock draft. Chris, you should look at Logan Wilson, one of the better coverage linebackers. Yeah, I know. He had him. I think he had him in the 3rd round. I think he had him in the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people like him. A lot of people are saying he's an underrated linebacker that maybe Giants want to look at if he's there in the 3rd round. Maybe you get better value there. I did watch the mock. He did like him a lot. I've read a lot of people do like him. What's up, Afghanistan? I'm going to have my chat. It's awesome, Milan. Chris Gonzalez says, I want to trade down with Miami so we can hopefully get one of their first-round picks. Well, yeah, I don't think we're going to get a first-round pick if we're trading from 4 to 5. We might get their 2nd round. You might get an early 2nd-round pick if you did that. I don't think we're getting one of their other first rounds. That's my opinion. What's going on, man? Big Daddy's in the house, man. Love Big Daddy. Comments on all my videos. Great subscriber of mine. Thanks for being here, man. Watch us trade down to the Jaguars for Unique. It's possible. I'm not going to rule it out. Not likely, in my opinion, but anything's possible on draft night. Let's see what we got here. Any word on Littleton? Nothing that I've heard as of yet. But, I'm sure we'll hear rumors as it gets closer and closer. Don't sleep on Denzel Mims. Denzel Mims, in my opinion, might go first round. I had him going, I think I had him going 31 to San Francisco in my latest mock. Great combine. He blew it away. I think he's definitely going to move up draft charts to wide receiver out of Baylor. Definitely a guy you want to look at. Yeah, he's a well-rounded receiver. He seems to have jumped Chenault. A lot of people had Laviska Shenault from Colorado in the 1st round. He seems to be the guy that dropped. Denzel Mims seems to be the guy that jumped up due to his combine. Definitely a guy that if he's there in the 2nd round, if someone like that falls to the Giants in the 2nd round, maybe you think about it, depending on what you do in free agency. I still don't want to take a receiver that early, but that's just me. I think it's a very deep draft class at that position. Giants might sign Clowney. They might. I wouldn't rule it out. Hey, Tana, roll blue. What's up, Shadon? Thanks for popping in. I think there'll be a big run of. I agree with you, Big Daddy. I think there's gonna. The closer and closer the draft gets, the more I'm thinking 6. I'm thinking 6 tackles in the 1st. maybe 7, but I'm going to go 6, I think. I think you're going to see at least 6 tackles in the first round. Let's see what we got here. Just imagine watching Simmons going against Simmons. Mr. Clocks, Chris, some good value late. Akeem Butler. Big kid, needs some work, but good potential. Maybe 5 or 7 rounder would be a good deal. I will look into him, Mr. Clocks. I will look into him, man. Do you think the Bears let Clinton Dix walk? Yeah, I've read some rumors about him potentially hitting the open market. Some Giants fans have talked about him as well. He's a guy with some upside. Yeah, he had some great success, good success early on in his career. Ingram in like a 4th or 5th, not happening. They're not doing that. Ingram in a 4th or 5th, not happening for Yannick Ngakoue. They're going to want way more than that. Ingram's coming up on free agency. We got to factor that in. Plus, he has an injury history. He's in a walking boot. Teams are going to look at him like, we don't even know if we're going to keep this guy. So, yeah, no, that's not happening. If you wanted to include Ingram, it would probably be Ingram in a 2nd. It definitely wouldn't be Ingram in a 4th. And I'm not doing it. Malik, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, so do you think it's going to be a mind-blowing free agency, and do you pray they get defensive that has a good IQ, don't tackle like a JV team? Listen, our tackling has been atrocious. Our defense as a whole has been atrocious, Malik. And I don't know if it's going to be a crazy free agency for the New York Giants. Like Big Daddy said, and a number of my subscribers have said, and like I've said for the most part, I haven't ruled out the possibility of us bringing in big free agents, but at the end of the day, I do think the Giants are going to mix and match. I think they're going to bring in guys like Van Noy. I think they're going to bring in good football players that they're not going to pay a premium for, if I had to guess. Now, am I going to rule out Jadeveon Clowney? No. Am I going to rule out Littleton? No. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to pick guys to fill holes that they're not going to have to give a gigantic contract to. And I think they're going to look for smart football players like Van Noy, players like that. How do you feel about Emmanuel Sanders to the Giants? There's a guy that I read an article today about Emmanuel Sanders, and people were saying he's going a little bit undervalued in this free agency class. He's older. How old is Sanders? He's probably like 30, 31, maybe even 32. He's up there, I think. I mean, for the right price, but, I don't think he's a huge difference maker. If we're going to bring in a receiver, I'd much rather a younger guy if we're going the free agency route, or just draft one in the 4th or 5th round. I think we have enough of those aging veterans, with someone like Golden Tate. I don't think we need Emmanuel Sanders. Let's see what we got here. Great quality 3rd or 4th round in another draft. Really, Jeremy? Wow. Huh. I'll have to give him a look. If you absolutely had to pick one free agent signing for the Giants this year, who would it be? You know what? I want Littleton, man. I like Littleton a lot. I've said Conklin time and time again, but at this point, I think he's out of my price range, if I'm being realistic. Like, if price wasn't an issue, I would say Jack Conklin, but it is. And $20 million is crazy. I think Littleton, if I get him for $15 million, I like Littleton. I think he'd be my guy. If there was one guy I could have that's like a notable, name. Let's see what we got here. Malik, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, I said if they trade back and get a tackle and a linebacker in the first round, then that's perfect to get Chase Claypool in the second round. Malik is trying to do whatever he can to get Chase Claypool. Okay, so if they trade back with the Chargers and they go from 4 to 6, you get a tackle at 6, you get Bourne at 36, at 36, and you get your wide receiver at 37. Yeah, that's an instance where maybe you could go with wide receiver, again, depending on the holes we fill in free agency. But yeah, if you trade from 4 to 6, you fill 2 needs before the 37th pick, and you love Chase Claypool or T. Higgins or some of these other receivers we've talked about, there's a way where I'd be on board with taking a receiver if there was a guy there that was, that shouldn't be, somebody that fell, Justin Jefferson, even though I don't think he would. Yeah. Maybe in that instance, it's possible. I still probably be in favor of taking the center, Cesar Ruiz, to go along with the tackle and the linebacker. But yeah, I'm not gonna cry if you take a receiver in that instance. Yeah, that's a possibility. Hope we could say a good offensive tackle and you and me both, man. That would be great. Do you think the Patriots will keep Dorsett? No. From everything I've read, and I could be wrong, but from most things I've read, I think Dorsett will hit the open market, and that's another guy that the Giants could potentially be linked to. I mentioned him when I did that Patriot free agency video. Obviously, Joe Judge, familiarity, wide receiver, kind of fits what we're looking to do. He's a tall threat. He's a guy with some upside. I think he's a former first-round pick. maybe the Giants have some interest in him on the right deal. Question, seems like Andrew Thomas is dropping rapidly. What do you think about drafting Isaiah and trading back up into the bottom of the... If he's there, that's a possibility. You could trade back up. That's a great point. That the first person I heard that from was Fireside Giants. I'm not sure which one of the three guys said it. I can't remember. But they brought up that possibility. The exact trade scenario we were just talking about with the Chargers. You trade from 4 to 6. You get the 6. You have 36, 37. You couple the 36 and 37. You trade back up to like 22 or 23 or whatever. And you get whatever. Andrew Thomas if he falls. Or, whoever. If a player is there that you feel like shouldn't be. That is a possibility. If they feel like there's a guy on their draft board that's fallen that shouldn't have. That is an option that the Giants could do, especially if they traded down initially with the Chargers. Any interest in Tavon Austin, young and ties to Garrett? Tavon Austin is one of those players, since he came into the league with the Rams. I remember I used to play fantasy a lot. I don't play it as much anymore. But I remember when he was a rookie, I liked him. I thought he had really good upside. Never really lived up to it. He's kind of like a gadget player. He's an interesting player, though. He could have had some flair to the offense, but he's always been incredibly underwhelming. I don't know how he did with the Cowboys last year, but I don't think he did much. He's not a guy I'm going to get excited about. I mean, but he's kind of a jack of all trades player. You can move him around a little bit, but he's been underwhelming throughout his career. But yeah, and again, he's not a tall guy either. Daniel Jones, Pro Bowler, and Barkley for rushing. I hope so, man. Yeah, no, I know we need a tall wide receiver. I'm with you, man. I know, Cecil. Cecil likes to drive his points home. I like that. Give Chris a thumbs up if they're free. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much, man. Samuel Webb says, do you think we could pick up Jimmy Graham? No. Somebody asked me that earlier. I'm not a big fan of picking up a veteran tight end. I think we could use our money better elsewhere to fill in more important needs. What's going on, David? Let's see what we got here. How do you feel about the Giants drafting? That's a guy I got to do more research on, Cash Shown. And I will do a lot more research on the later prospects after free agency. But I got to do more research on him. Darius Slayton will be a Pro Bowler. I don't know if he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but I do think he's going to have a very good season. And it's going to depend on what we do in free agency and the draft, but I do think Darius Slayton is going to have a very good season. I think he fits this offense very nicely. So I agree with you. Darius Slayton, I think, is going to have a really big year. You too. Gambler, what's up, man? Good to see you in here, man. Thoughts on safety out of... Let's see what we got here. Gandy Golden is interesting in the 4th, yeah. Tall wide receiver for sure. A lot of people have brought him up. I say that we should draft Lamar Jackson in the 2nd. If we take Becton, we can get those Barkley and Jones wishes. But listen, man, I'm not going to cry with Becton. But the thing that scares me with Becton, he seems to be a little bit of a project, but guy is huge. He's athletic. He's big. Yeah, and he would definitely be, I would say at this point in time, you know what? Type it in the chat. But if I had to guess, I'm curious to get the people in the chat. But if I had to guess, I would say it's almost 50-50 right now. I don't know, because some Giants fans like Wills. Wills, who do you like? I would guess either Wirfs or Becton is the most popular tackle with New York Giants fans right now. But let me know. Let me know who you like. Wirfs, Becton, Thomas, Wills. Who do you like? Who do you like? Oh, Malik, man, thanks so much, man, for the $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate that, man. He said Josh Jones. There's another one. A lot of people like Josh Jones. I just want to get these Wirfs. I want to get these votes to see what people think, and then I'm going to read the super chat, Malik, man. Thanks so much for the love. We got Wirfs. We got Becton. Wirfs. Josh Jones. A lot of Josh. Well, that's the same guy. Your vote only counts once. We got some Wirfs. We got some Bectons. Andrew Thomas. Wirfs/Wills. A lot of Wirfs. A lot of Wirfs. We got a couple of Bectons. Thomas. Big Daddy likes Thomas. I remember that. Thomas. It's kind of distributed pretty evenly. A lot of Wirfs, it seems. Couple of Bectons, couple of Wills, couple of Thomases. All right, there's a mix. So thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Malik. Let me read this. He says, if you look at the wide receiver group, that's a dangerous squad. Shepard, the most underrated safety receiver. Golden's still one of the best. I agree with that. I still think he's a very good slot receiver. And Claypool, yeah, I agree. I mean, Chase Claypool, Malik, is the type of, we got a lot of votes there. Chase Claypool is the type of wide receiver that I do think that the Giants are missing. Because you bring up all those guys, you're right. They all have their strengths, but we are missing that tall, red zone, 50-50 ball threat. And that is the attraction to not just him, but a lot of receivers that New York Giants fans are interested in, like Andy Golden and T. Higgins, guys that could go up and catch the 50-50 ball, like Burris used to do for Eli Manning. That I agree with you on that. That's definitely the type of wide receiver we need to add to this group. Trent Williams. A lot of people have brought up Trent Williams. I honestly don't see, just thinking logically, like, I don't see the Washington Redskins trading us Trent Williams in division. I just don't see it. I would love a good left tackle, but I think he's 32 and he wants a big contract too. You got to factor that in. But I don't see the Redskins trading him to us. I just don't see it. Let's see what we got here. Let's just put a brick wall there and call it a day. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Logan Ryan, one of the best probably the best slot corner on the open market. He's going to get paid for it. I think he's going to get $13-14 million based on the signing today. But Roby got 12, so he's going to get at least 12. But yeah, I like Logan Ryan. I do like him. Chris, what do you think of signing a middle linebacker, cornerback, and 2 offensive linemen and going with Carter and Zimenez next season? So you're saying basically just actually have less than what we had last year because you'd be getting rid of Marcus Golden at the edge rusher position, and you're saying fix the middle linebacker, fix the corner, and get 2 D linemen. I really would like to add another guy. It doesn't have to be a supreme pass rusher. It could be a guy like Van Noy. But even though Van Noy he's kind of a hybrid, he is just as good in coverage as anything else. I would prefer to bring in an edge rusher in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in the draft or free agency, like a guy like Bond, or bring in maybe a second tier edge rusher. But I do think they need to replace Marcus Golden if they're not bringing him back. I do think you need to get another guy in that mix. But I do want to see O'Shane Zimenez take off, Lorenzo Carter take off, get better. But I do think we need another edge rusher. Bradbury's a decent corner, but he's going to get paid like he's a great one. You look at the signing today by Roby. We've heard that Bradbury wants $15 million. Well, guess what? Bradbury's going to get it. I'm not giving Bradbury $15 million. Not doing it. He's a good corner. He's good. He's like average, slightly above average. Yeah, I like Michael Pittman. There's a guy that you definitely could be a 4th round target at the wide receiver position. Yes, there's another guy, the center from New England, depending on the price, but yes. Would you want either Demaryius Thomas, Chris Hogan, Dontrell Inman, or Travis Benjamin for a 2 to 3 year deal? Demaryius Thomas is probably shot. I mean, I don't know what he did last year, but I know he was with the Jets briefly. I don't think he did much. I don't know what Hogan's done lately. Dontrell Inman, he was decent with the Chargers a few years ago. I mean, all those guys, I don't know what they did last year, but those guys haven't done much in a while. Probably not. If we're gonna bring in a wide receiver, I want it to be a young guy. If we're going free agency, I want it to be a young guy with some upside. I probably would not have interest in older wide receivers. What's going on, LA Yankee King? Thanks for popping into the stream. Christian Jones in the chat. What about Darius Slay? Everything depends on the price for me, man. That's always gonna be my answer to you guys. Depends on the price. Darius Slay, I think they're gonna want more than what we're willing to give. Yeah. No, I don't think he's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna want more than what you'd want to give up. Can you see the Giants going after? What's going on, J-Rax? Thanks for popping in. Nelson Aguilar. I mean, if you talk to any Eagles fan, they hate Nelson Aguilar. I remember when he came in the league, people were really excited about him. Depends on the price. But, I guess if it was a cheap contract, he might be worth a shot. But he's had drop problems, with the Eagles. A lot of drop problems. What's up there, Craig? Thanks for popping in, man. Chris, if you were Gettleman, would you have traded a 5th-round pick for Calais Campbell? Okay, I saw that post, on Twitter. I forgot who posted it. But somebody posted that, and they said, I honestly don't remember who posted it. And it said something like, the Giants are lost. How could they let this team trade a fifth-round pick for Calais Campbell? But my mindset with that is, why would the Giants want to trade for Calais Campbell? Calais Campbell's going to make $16 million. He's going to be 34 years old. He wants a 2-year extension. We're not winning a Super Bowl next year. We're not the Baltimore Ravens. No, I would not have traded for Calais Campbell. We got rid of a guy like Calais Campbell. We got rid of Snacks Harrison because he didn't fit the timeline. He didn't fit the timeline of the team. So no, I would not. I would not have any interest in Calais Campbell. Doesn't match up with the team right now. Doesn't match up with the team. Malik, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, and for center, Chris, we have 10. We have 10. This is true. We do have 10 draft picks, and we need a center. We need a center bad, but we do have a lot of draft picks, and we do. I think in that scenario that you painted, I think we'd go center in the third or fourth, or free agency. We still may get one in free agency. We may get McGovern. We'll see. Chris, trust me, Tristan Wirfs reminds me of a right tackle who just got paid, athletic, supreme athlete. That guy is Lane Johnson. Listen, Sam, I'm a fan of Tristan Wirfs. You don't got to talk it into me, man. Yeah, they do get Mr. Irrelevant. We said we might be getting the kicker from Georgia. Interesting. I'm still leaning Rosas will be a kicker, but I could be wrong. Let's see what we got here. Eagles fans hate everything. Chris, trust me, Tristan. I read it, Sam. What would you give up for Ngakoue? What is likely the asking price? Okay, yeah, I did a video on that a couple of days ago, and I think I think you're looking at a late first, early second price tag, and it might not even be that. Now, I still think it will be, but it might not, because right now the Jaguars have painted themselves into a corner because they have traded their entire team. Everyone is gone from that team. They got rid of A.J. Boye. They got rid of Calais Campbell. There is no way. Well, I can't say that. Anything could happen. It is very unlikely that Yannick Ngakoue will be a Jacksonville Jaguar. And everyone knows that. So they don't have power. They have no leverage. I still think somebody will bite the bullet and probably give them a late first, early second. Somewhere in that range. I think that's what you're looking at for Yannick Ngakoue. But they're not, in my opinion, not getting 2 first. Not getting anything like that. They're not getting a first and a second. I'll go late first, early second. That's probably the price tag. NBA back in June. We'll see. Hopefully it's back in May. Okay, so that's news that just came out. NBA looking to be back in June. Okay, so that means the playoffs would probably be in what? The playoffs would probably end right when the football was getting started. So that'd be cool. I would do the NBA playoff streams. I'd do the play-by-play, and that takes us right into the NFL season. That'd be fun. You think Spencer? Yeah, I did a video on that too. I still think it's a long shot that A.J. Epinesa would fall to the New York Giants in the second round, but I think it's at least a small possibility. And we were talking about guys that you may be willing to trade back up into the first round. If Epinesa falls to like 25, 26, that could be a guy that maybe the Giants are interested in moving back up for. Because he obviously had a very bad combine. We'll see what he does at his pro day. But yeah, he's a guy that could fall at least to the late first. I don't think he's going in the first 15 picks. I could be wrong. But, there's a guy that was originally, most people had in the top 10, 12. I think he's going to fall into the 20s. Maybe a guy you want to move back up for. Maybe the Giants are interested in that. Cruzon, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. He says, do fans regret beating Washington and falling? There's a question for the chat. I don't. But I completely get where people are coming from with that. And it won't be fun having a block Chase Young, that's for sure. But let's see. A lot of yeses. And I understand the yeses. My mindset with the whole Chase Young thing, and I was just honest, guys. But first off, you'll never see me ever tell a fan how to root for their team. And the people that wanted the Giants to lose, I understood it. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I didn't. I couldn't root for it. But I'll put it this way: if the Giants lost, I wouldn't have been upset. I kind of went into the games. It was just like, all right, well, if they win, I can't root for my team to lose. But if they lose, at least there's a benefit that we're going to be picking higher in the draft. But I don't look down on anybody that was rooting for them to lose because I completely get the mindset. People are probably thinking, well, in the long term, it's better if we lose because we're going to get a higher draft pick. So I understand it. Kyle, how you been, buddy? $5 super chat. He says, what's up? Who ready for some amazing coverage from the god known as Chris is the Entertainer Talking Sports? Everyone take a knee as the Giants rise to judge. Thanks for the love, man. Kyle's awesome, man. Love you, Kyle, man. Thanks for popping in, buddy. And Rare Form with a $5 super chat. Wouldn't mind drafting a Brandon Jacobs type bruiser running back to spell Android number 20. There you go, Saquon Barkley. To get back to that punch. You and the Mount New York Giants championship football. You and me both, Rare Form. That's what we've been missing for a long time. That's why I want the offensive line. I want to be able to jam it down your throat like we did with that 2008 offense with Jacobs, Ward, and Bradshaw. But I'm with you, man. I would love to get a big bruiser in the later rounds of the draft. That's what we need. We need a guy that could spell Saquon Barkley, come in those third and shorts, fourth and shorts, get those tough tackles between the guards. I'm all for getting a big back for sure, man. I've been saying that for a while. I am all aboard that train, all aboard it. Yeah, A.J. Dillon, that's the guy I like. That guy is huge. A.J. Dillon, there you go, guys. Big Daddy just ruined my mock. Big Daddy just ruined my I'm kidding. My 7-round mock. He is going to be going in my 7-round mock. Probably in the 6th round, maybe in the 5th. I am having A.J. Dillon go to the New York Giants. I am a big fan of A.J. Dillon. He is the exact type of back that I want the New York Giants to have. He's like 245 pounds. He's big. He's mean. Get A.J. Dillon. I want him. He ruined my mock. Everyone will start the season with a blank slate. Yes, this is true. As they should. It's a new coach. Leonard Williams situation. I'll tell you what, Tony. As it's getting closer, I don't think we're going to bring him back. I really don't. I could be wrong. We're going to find out at noon tomorrow if we're going to franchise tag him. Now, the one thing I will say, it's possible they don't want to give up that 4th round pick, and they have an agreement under the table that they'll wait until the day that it'll become a 5th round pick. That's been talked about. That's possible. But I think a deal would have been done already, at least from a franchise tag perspective. Let's see what we got here. Do you think we could get a late first for Evan? No chance. You're not getting a late first for Evan Ingram. How do you feel about Peyton Barber in free agency? Yep. I mentioned him in one of my running back videos, I think. He's been underwhelming in terms of yardage, but yards per carry, but he is a short yardage back. If they don't want to attack him in the draft, that is the type of back that I would be looking at. And maybe not him specifically, but that type of running back in free agency, and he'd probably come pretty cheap. So, Peyton Barber only averaged like 3.5 yards a carry, but he's a guy that you could bring in for those tough yardage situations. So, definitely a guy that I have my eye on. That's a possibility, yeah. Let's see what we got here. Get Penny pounding into the line. Penny's back. We'll see how they utilize him. Who's going to give Leonard Williams a better deal than us? We have the most to lose. No way he gets anything close to... Oh, no, he's not getting 18. God, no. He's not getting 18. Leonard Williams, my guess is this. If the New York Giants sign Leonard Williams, I'm going to go... If he's with the Giants, and it's not a franchise tag, I think it'll be 4 years, 52. I think he'll get $13 million a year. If the Giants sign him, I think he'll get 4 years, 52. That's my prediction. I say we take Simmons and just have him play left tackle. Also, what's your take, Entertainer? I don't know if he could do... Well, he plays every other position, Joda. So maybe you can. Oh, man, Malik, man, thank you so much for your incredible generosity, man. I appreciate it, man. And I'm going to be hoping on draft night we get Chase Claypool just for you. Malik with the $5 super chat, he says, just like Rare Form said, wouldn't mind drafting Plaxico Burress, and don't forget the running back from my home state, Maryland. Speed kills. Speed does kill. And they were looking at a couple of guys like that from the running back position. The other guy was from Arizona State. But I still want that big hammer guy. I want that bruiser. We got the speedster with Barkley. I want that big bruiser, that Brandon Jacobs. If they're adding a running back, man. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate it. JJ Trilla in the house. What's going on, man? He says the Cowboys will sweep the Giants. Garrett is an inside. He better not be an inside man. You know what? He's an inside man for us. He's going to tell us all about your football team, JJ Trilla. He's going to clap us to a championship, man. What are your thoughts on Armstead? A couple of people have asked me about Eric Armstead from the 49ers. I think, I haven't done a ton of, I know Eric Armstead. I think he was a first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. The thing that scares me about Armstead, he was kind of underwhelming until this year. And you look at who they added. They add Bosa. They add D Ford. So that's my mindset with him, and it's the same mindset I have with Fowler. Now, Fowler, some people said, got put in a better situation. He got a system fit. And that's part of the reason. But I do think, obviously, going there, you got obviously a lot of good pass rushers with the Rams that helped him. So I don't know, man. Part of me thinks that Armstead really had a strong season because of the players that were added in San Francisco. That's the only thing that worries me there with him. But he's productive. Can we trade? Let me try to answer this. Can we trade B.J. Hill in a second for Matt Judon type player because the Ravens don't need as much on the left side because they have Campbell now? Huh. That's going to be I don't know the Ravens salary cap situation. Now that they've brought in Calais Campbell, I don't know the salary cap situation. So maybe somebody in the chat does, and maybe it's possible they brought in Calais Campbell knowing that they're going to look to tag and trade Judon. I suppose it's possible. But my mindset is right now with the Ravens, they're a win-now team. They bring in Calais Campbell. He's an older defensive tackle. I don't see the reasoning, if the salary cap makes sense, for them to trade Judon at this point. I think they're a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl next year. I think you ride it out with Judon for one more year on the franchise tag, and you try to compete. If I had to guess, that's what I'm leaning right now. But I could be wrong. As far as that trade goes, I mean, that's not a crazy trade proposal if they were open to trading Judon. Karan Gill, thanks so much, man, for the love, man. I think that's Canadian. I just got some Canadian dollars. Oh, my God. Thank you so much. He says, how much is too much for Leonard Williams? Anything over $13 million, I don't want to give him. For me, if I'm a GM, that's where I draw the line. $13 million and you're out. Maybe 13.5 per. I don't want to be giving him much more than that. You can never have too many running backs. You're right. I mean, we as Giants fans should know that, man. Sport Track says $4.6 million for the Ravens. So is that after? I'm assuming that's after the Calais Campbell acquisition. It's possible. It's possible they brought in Campbell knowing that they were going to look to tag and trade Judon. It's possible. What would you give up for? I'm assuming you mean Unique, Christian Jones. I think a fair trade. I don't know if I would do it, but I think a fair trade is 4 to 9. 4 to 9. You take your offensive lineman at 9 and you get Unique. They move up. They get their quarterback. If they wanted a quarterback, I think that's a fair trade. I'm not saying I would do that, but I think that's a fair trade. Chris, I don't know about this, and most likely won't happen. But what if we sign Austin Hooper, trade Evan Ingram for an early third-round pick, and then take a center? I'm not in favor of spending. I mean, Hooper's going to be paid the highest paid tight end in football. I don't want to do it, man. I don't want to do that. I just don't believe in paying a tight end that type of money. I'd rather spend it in other areas. That's just me, though. Everybody has their mindset on how they want to build a football team. I don't believe in allocating a lot of the cap to a tight end. Byron Jones to the Giants following Jason Garrett. Byron Jones to the it's possible. He's been rumored to the Giants for a while. He's going to cost you 18, 17, thereabouts a year. But he's definitely talented. Are you going to do WrestleMania since there is no sports going on? I would love to see how you do color commentary for wrestling. I don't even know. When is WrestleMania? I don't watch wrestling. I've done the UFC before. And I'll probably do another one. I know Dire Giants fan wanted me to do another one of those. I'll probably do another one of those. When is WrestleMania? Listen, at the end of the day, obviously I'm going to focus mainly on my content, but I always like to do what my subscribers want. And if my subscribers would be interested in that, I would do a one thing out of the blue just for fun. Call WrestleMania. It'd be fun. I don't know when it is. It's April 5th. Wow, that's soon, man. That's soon. It's canceled? Oh, it's supposed to get canceled? Okay. Chris Gronkowski will be in the WWE. Just learned that today. I believe that. Gronkowski is the type of guy that would be in the WWE. When's your mock draft? My next mock draft is going to be after free agency. So probably like Friday or Saturday, I'll probably have my next mock draft up. I'm going to have the same thing I've been doing. I'm going to have a first-round mock. That'll be the first thing I do. It'll be the post-combine, the post-free agency mock. And then probably 2 days, 3 days after, I'll have a 7-round Giants-only mock. Where I give our 10 picks and what players I take with those picks. Do I see that? Yeah, I made a video on that. Yeah, Devin McCourty. Yeah. I mean, free agency, it could go on for a long time, but in terms of the big free agents, you probably will see most of them signed by Wednesday. Thursday, Wednesday, you'll probably see most of them off the board. Chris, you're a legend. Just say, I appreciate that, Joe Dahama. Thank you to everybody for being here, by the way. I can't say thank you enough. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you guys for being here. Do you think Byron, Simmons, Clowney, and Leonard Williams change our defense to top 15? All right, so if we had Byron Jones, we draft Simmons. Yes. I think we better be with what we'd be paying there. I mean, you'd be paying $40 million for Clowney and Byron Jones, and you're adding, that would be the third defensive player in the draft. Yeah, you better have at least a borderline top 15 defense if you were to add all those pieces. Most Giant fans believe WWE. Who do you got, my boys, taking at 17? JJ Trilla. Gotta wait. I don't know your free agency money cap situation, but right now, my most recent mock draft, I see you guys going one of two ways. I think you guys are either going to take a corner or you're going to take a safety. But I had you taking Xavier McKinney in my latest. But you could definitely go with a corner, also maybe Diggs or the guy from Florida. You go with a corner or a safety, but I got you taking McKinney right now. Bando's going to be on after free agency, Jesse Rivera. We texted yesterday. He's just been busy. It's not like I've been trying to avoid him. He's just been busy. But we're gonna have a show. I don't know whose channel it's gonna be on, but we're gonna have a show after free agency. And we're gonna be doing our thing probably like Thursday or Friday. Yeah, I don't know whose channel it's gonna be on. Chris, you really think Clowney and Conklin are not worth it with the cap increase? It opens some. I didn't say they're not worth it. I just don't know if the Giants are gonna be willing to spend it. I could see them spending on Clowney. From what I read today, I think Seattle is looking to bring him back. That doesn't mean they will. We'll see. I do think if it's the open market, Clowney could be a New York Giant. I'm not ruling that out at all. Just started following you in the offseason. What do you do during the regular season, Gavin F? During the regular season, I'm going to give you a lot of video content. All right, I'm going to tell you some things I'm going to do this year in the in season. Obviously, I'm going to do what I've been doing, and this year in season, it's like at least a video a day. I'll have a game preview. I'll have any breaking news, whether it's the injury report, whether it's the, maybe I'll do a video talking about the type of offense we're going up against this week. I plan on doing some film breakdowns this year. I'm going to buy the NFL package or whatever it is where you get the good film footage. So I plan on doing that this year as well, breaking down the film of last week's game. I'm going to do that. I obviously do post-game recaps. And then I'm also going to do some broad NFL content. I'm going to do power rankings every week. I want to get started on that. I didn't do that last year. I regretted doing that. I'm going to do weekly picks. I'm going to stay on top of that this year. I'm definitely going to do some broad NFL content as well. Obviously centered on the New York Giants, but I'll do some power ranking stuff. Stuff like that. But yeah, I got daily content all year round, man. Let's see what we got here. Trade back to get Unique and the 9th. Take Mekhi Becton, 2nd round pick. Anything's possible. Life without sports sucks, but you're easing the pain for us. I appreciate that, Nikki. Yeah, life without sports, it sucked for me too, so you guys are easing the pain for me. I get to talk to you guys about sports, man. We all love sports. And when something like this happens, it makes you realize how much you really do love sports. Do you think Devin Funchess can be a steal for cheap since he's coming off injury but had a wonderful season the year before in 2018? I think Devin Funchess is when me and Bad Dog were doing a show in season, we were talking about, and by the way, that's another thing we do. We haven't done it for a couple months if you're new to my channel, but we do the Talk of Giants, and we'll be doing that at least once a week, if not twice, in season. with Bad Dog and myself. It's a live talk show. But we were talking in season about wide receivers that the New York Giants could potentially target. And I stream the games, by the way. I do live play-by-play of the Giants with Bad Dog. But Devin Funchess was a guy that I thought would have been a really good fit for the New York Giants. He's got upside. He's tall. He has connections to Gettleman. Again, depends on the price. But, yeah, I think Devin Funchess could make sense. What is my most reliable and quickest source? I'll tell you what. My most reliable and quickest source, it's the truth. My most reliable and quickest source is my subscribers. It's my subscribers. And by the way, I'm sure there's a couple. I saw Jake was in here. I know Sonora might have been still. Drop my Discord in there. I've been meaning to shout that out in my videos. I have a Discord. Some of the best Giants fans on YouTube, or just sports fans. There's Cowboy fans in there. There's Chargers fans in there. But it's just fun. We talk sports all day, and we have fun. Sometimes they talk about whatever. But you can join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Crispy Cracker, thanks so much for the $1 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. But my subscribers, man, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Discord, whether it's on you guys commenting on my videos, I would say half the time I get my information from you guys before I get it from anybody on Twitter. So, yeah, I would say my best source is you guys. And you guys give me some of the best ideas for my videos. So, yeah, man, you guys drive this channel, and that's what I want this channel to be about. I want this channel I want this channel to be for Giants fans, and I want you guys to have just as much involvement in it as I do. Like, I try to make videos that you guys are interested in, you know, and sometimes you're not, and sometimes you are, but, yeah, man, that's what this channel is all about, man. Jacob, man, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. He says, you think Darius Slayton is a true number one? I'm not ready to say that yet, but I think he could be. I think he could be, for sure, and thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if they're still here. Jake, yeah, Jake, could you do me a favor and drop that Discord link? I don't know if anybody else is still here. I don't have the link on me, but somebody from my, Chris, when I do, the colon's not working tonight. That's why I hung up. It's become a Q&A. It's not a colon tonight. But if somebody from my Discord could drop that link, I'd appreciate it. Chris, Andy Dalton is a potential backup. If not, where do you... Yeah, I view Andy Dalton in the same capacity that I view Mariota. I still think he's going to look for at least an opportunity to compete to start or a place where he could potentially take over. I don't think Andy Dalton's going to look to be a clear backup with the New York Giants. Just my opinion. You actually came on my podcast a little while back. Just want to say thank you for it. Came out great and haven't watched a ton of YouTube recently. Not sure you should. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Gavin. Yep. Yeah. Go and check that out, man. And thank you for posting the Discord, Andy. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. There is the Discord if anybody wants to join. And I will be posting that in my next video. I've been meaning to do that. I keep forgetting. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, man, in the Discord. I'm there all the time. You know, it's like texting somebody. I'm there all the time. It's a lot of fun. Most times we are your appreciate. I really appreciate that, man. Dysfunctional. Thank you very much, man. You believe in Jones as we? Yeah, I believe in Jones. I believe in Jones, man. I've been critical of Jones at times. I've tried to be patient with Jones. I don't want to be one of these guys that comes out and says, "Oh, Jones is you know." I want you guys to respect my opinion, you know. And sometimes I'm not trying to point out any names at all, but it's just people in general, whether it's people on YouTube, people on Twitter, whatever. I want to be fair in my assessment of the players on the team, and I want to give you guys my honest opinion. I do like Daniel Jones, but I was hard on him at first. And not to say, obviously my reaction was wrong. I fully admit that. I was wrong in that. I was over the top. But I want him to earn my respect. But yeah, from what I saw in his rookie year, I like Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones could be a very good quarterback. And I think that we have to surround him with the pieces for him to be as good as he possibly can. But I do think Daniel Jones could be a very good quarterback in this league, yes. Thank you for joining the Discord, Crispy Cracker. I appreciate that, man. So, Chris, if we trade back and draft a tackle in the later round, if we sign Marcus Golden but don't pick up anyone else for defense lineman, do you think you'd be happy to pick up the dude? You're talking about Yetur Gross-Matos in the second round? Yeah, I'd be happy with Gross-Matos in the second round for sure. Or do you mean in the first round? What's up, Real New York Giants Mafia? Thanks for popping in, man. Real New York Giants Mafia is the man. what would your top 2 ads be in free agency if it were your call? Littleton and probably Van Noy. If we're factoring everything in, like I could just tell you the 2 best players, but you got to factor in money. Money is a factor. Factoring in money, I would say Van Noy and Littleton. I think both would be pretty good in coverage. It would shore up your linebacker position. Van Noy's got familiarity with Judge. I like that fit, and it gives you the option to go offensive line in the draft, which is just my personal preference. Everybody's entitled to their own, and that is what I would do. I don't know what the Giants are going to do. I have no idea. Calais Campbell traded to the Ravens. I think we could put it into perspective. The value we got for Williams' trade, as he's only 25 compared to a 34-year-old. It's a good point, man. It's a good point. It's a good point. I appreciate that, Real New York Giants Mafia, man. Post a link to your draft reaction. I can't do it while I'm live, but it's on YouTube. I mean, and by the way, I didn't take that down. Swear to God, somebody hacked my YouTube account and deleted that video. But you could find it in any, it's all over the internet. You just type in Giants fan reaction, and I'm there. Hey, Chris, love your channel, bro. Best of luck, man. I really appreciate that, Jack Hogan, man. Thanks so much for being here, buddy. As of right now, personnel-wise, what defense do you believe we should be playing 3-4-4-3? I don't think we're playing either one, Dalia. I think we're a versatile defense. I think we're going to do both. It depends on the opponent. I said it with Rover. And by the way, I don't know if anybody got a chance to check that out. That's something I want to do a lot more often. I love that. The podcast style thing with the 30, 35-minute conversation. I want to do that more often. I would love to do it live, but I think it comes out much better when it's edited because when I'm live, I got to talk to the chat. But I love doing that, and that's something I'm going to do with Philly 500. I was going to work with him today. We had a bit of a scheduling conflict, but I want to have a different YouTuber on once a week, once every other week, and just shoot, just talk football. And I had a great time doing that, so I want to do that more often. But yeah, I'm going to have Philly 500 on. We're going to talk NFC East. He's obviously an Eagles YouTuber. We're going to talk NFC East. We're going to talk draft. We're going to talk about our opinions about the Cowboys, Dak, everything. So, should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to that. Might go to bed if Dak and Cooper leave. Is this bad for the Cowboys? Yeah, I would say it's bad for the Cowboys. What's your opinion on the new CBA? I think the new CBA, no teams run a strict 3. No, they don't. But I think the Giants are going to be literally all over the place based on their opponent. I think the new CBA was, some people may argue that the players should have gotten more, but I think the players got as much as they could have hoped for. I think it was a fair agreement for the players. At the end of the day, the owners have the power, and the owners gave up some of it. The players got something, right? They got the marijuana test, which is a huge deal. They got the increase in salary. It's going up about triple what it normally does. So I think it was a pretty fair deal for the players, and I think obviously the owners made out. They get the extra game. They're gonna make extra revenue from the 2 extra playoff games. Yeah, I think it was as close to even as you could have hoped for. Oh, definitely, Nikki. We're definitely gonna link up again. Definitely. I got to text Fisk. My job's just been crazy. That's why I haven't been going live as much as I have. And I used to have a lot more time to go live, so that's why I would hop on Fisk's channel. But now with the limited time that I have, I want to dedicate it to my channel. But no, I definitely want to work with Fisk. I like Fisk. Is there only 2 preseason games? No, there's 3. Craig, there's 3 preseason games. 3. You're doing great. Really appreciate the videos. I really appreciate it, Zachary, man. Thanks so much for the love, man. Thank you very much. Bring in Jamie Collins. Try to revive Treadwell's career with a cheap, short, prove-it deal. Emmanuel Agba and Frankie. Those are all guys that, those are smart, cost-effective signings. All the guys you just said. I remember when Treadwell was available last year, I thought maybe the Giants could take a flyer on him. I think it was via trade. I can't remember, but I remember I did a video on that. And Laquan Treadwell, maybe that's the type of guy maybe you want to look at. He's young. He's been disappointing throughout his career. Jamie Collins, I like. He's a good pass rusher. Yeah, those are all smart signings for sure. Guys you want to be looking at. Jacob Kaiser, man, thank you so much, man, for the love, man. $10 super chat. He says, with the new CBA playoff setup, you think the Giants can make the playoffs if we draft Simmons, if we sign Littleton, Kyle Van Noy, and Xavier Rhodes? Okay, so we draft Simmons, and we sign Littleton, Kyle Van Noy. I mean, Yes, I do. I don't know if I would pick us, but yeah, I mean, if you would have. I'm not a huge fan of Xavier Rhodes. I don't know if you watched my video on him. I know some people are. I think he's not that good anymore. But Kyle Van Noy, Littleton. If you got Kyle Van Noy, Littleton, and Simmons, I mean, your linebacking core is night and day. I mean, you would have, one of the best coverage units in the league. Now, the offensive line would still be a big problem. I would suppose you'd probably take a tackle in the second. But, yeah, I mean, you would have a really good set of linebackers there. Really good in coverage. So, yeah, I think we could. Yeah, for sure. The Gillette Fusion Pro Glide reflects motivation. Good job. Every time Vance from Alaska tunes into my stream, he's shaving. Bends the knees, Malik Thompson says. Chris, what up, you can only love and loon? Ryan Clay, he's in my Discord. He's one of my best subscribers. What's going on, Ryan, man? Glad to see you here, man. Fisk said Dallas should sign Jameis instead of Dak. What do you think? That'll never happen, Joe Dingleberry. By the way, great name. That will never happen. But I don't even know if I necessarily disagree with him. You'd probably get Winston on a shorter deal. And Dak, you're going to have to commit 5 years. The Cowboys will never do it, though. He's got familiarity there. He's won there. Dak's going to be a Cowboy. But Dak's going to be overpaid, and I'm happy year to year. Dak's not going to be worth whatever he gets paid. But at the end of the day, he kind of is. Because when you got Ryan Tannehill getting $30 million, Dak gets 35. Well, Dak deserves more. The quarterback market is just crazy, man. Guy with the crazy Treadwell scenario here. All those players would cost under $12 million together. I was really high on Jaron Curse in that year's draft. Javon Curse in that year's draft, and he somehow went in the Jaron Curse you're talking about, and he somehow went in the 7th. Interesting. Will the draft be canceled? No. It could be backed up, but it's not going to be canceled. No way. There's no way we can sign all these guys without grossly overpaying for them. Which players are you talking about, Jeff? I don't know. Are you talking about the super chat with the? Yeah, you're probably right. Well, let me go back and look at it. Xavier Rhodes, I think, would probably cost, I don't know, $9 million. Van Noy's going to cost, we'll say, $11 million. That's $20 million. Littleton is $15 million. You could sign those players. That'd be about $35 to $37 million. You could sign those players. But you wouldn't be able to fix much else. You wouldn't be able to fix the offensive line. You wouldn't be able to. I think you could sign those 3 players. You're gonna overpay. You're always gonna overpay in free agency, but I think you could sign those players. Should the draft be before free agency? I actually like it. I like free agency before the draft because then you get to fill. I know the NBA does it the other way around because then you get to fill out your roster. And then you fill in your holes and you set yourself up for the draft. I like the free agencies before the draft. The draft in Las Vegas has been canceled. They are moving it to another city, and there will be no one allowed in. Yeah, that card coach I agree with. That I'm not surprised with. But I meant like the draft. Yeah, I think it'll be different. I don't think it's going to be what it normally is. But I do think that obviously the draft will take place. Rudy T. What's going on, Rudy T, man? Thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat. He says, bro, my notification didn't go off. I missed the show. Yeah, no, it hasn't been a call-in show because my call-in wasn't working. I'm going to have to delete the first call-in show because I went live for a second time. But it's been a Q&A. It's been a lot of fun. I'll probably keep it going to like 11:30, man, because I'm just having fun talking to you guys, talking football. It's a lot of fun. And you guys are the best. And Rudy, by the way, I always like to shout him out because Rudy is one of my biggest supporters. He's been with my channel for... Rudy's been on my channel. He might be my first subscriber. He's been on my channel forever. I love Rudy. Jacob Kaiser with the $5 super chat, man. Thanks so much, man. He says, should I follow Fisk's advice and put money on Danny Dimes for MVP? His odds in profit is 6,600. So you'd get 66 to 1 if you bet on Daniel Jones. Jacob, what I would ask you, I don't know. I'm not a huge gambler. If I had to guess, I'm going to tell you this. If the Giants make the playoffs, I would say Barkley, as crazy as this sounds, because I know it's a quarterback league. I know quarterbacks generally win the MVP. If Barkley and Jones had similar odds, I'd bet on Barkley. Because I think if the Giants have a big year, it's going to be focused around Barkley. I think Barkley will have an historical season if the Giants are very successful. So I don't know Barkley's odds. They may be not nearly as good as Jones's, but if they're comparable, I would actually sooner bet on Barkley than I would Jones. But that's just my opinion. Blazer fan 98 with the $5 super chat. He says, what team do you think we will trade with in the draft if we do? Also, what record do you expect the Giants to finish with this year? If we trade in the draft, I think the most realistic team would either be the Chargers or the Dolphins. I don't think the Giants would be looking to trade out of the top 10, but if they were looking to trade out of the top 10, I would say the Raiders, but I would say probably the Chargers is the most realistic. But if we're looking at a team outside the top 10, I suppose the Raiders are possible. And what record do you expect? It's so tough for me to say right now because I don't know the team. Half the team we don't know yet. We don't know free agency. We don't know the draft. But I'm gonna be realistic in my approach, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I know a lot of Giants fans are not gonna like my initial prediction, and I'm not gonna. Let's put it this way: I'm not gonna say that they're gonna be 11-5 or 12-4. I'm gonna be honest with my prediction. Come regular season. And I'm hoping they're competitive, and I'm hoping they can make the playoffs. But I'm also going to be rational and not try to jump the gun, not try to put too much pressure on this coaching staff out of the gate. But right now, I mean, if they went 8-8 next year, I'd be happy right now. But I don't know. I don't know the team yet. Malik, thank you so much, man, for the $5 super chat, man. He says, "Hey, Chris, if we don't draft a tackle in the first round and go Simmons, is there some underrated tackle out there I don't know about?" All right, if we don't go tackle, I mean, if we're talking second round tackles, you're hoping, Jackson, probably Austin Jackson is the guy you're hoping for in the second round. If I don't think there's any really good tackles outside of the top 5 or 6. I like Josh Jones a lot. I don't think he's going to be there. I think Austin Jackson's the guy you're looking at in the second round. Maybe if he's there. If we take Isaiah Simmons. I think that's what you're looking at in the second round, if I had to guess. In terms of late round prospects, I know a couple of names, but I got to do a lot more research, which I'm going to do when I do my 7-round mock draft. I don't want to give you names that I don't know enough about. But in terms of the second round, I would say Austin Jackson is the guy you're hoping for if we do not go tackle in the first. Jacob Kaiser, Barkley is 100-1. Jacob, I'm going to be honest with you. This is just my honest opinion, and I know why he's 100-1 because quarterbacks are everything when it comes to MVP. I think Barkley is a much better bet than Daniel Jones. Much better bet. And I know running backs don't normally win it. Barkley at 100-1 is a steal. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying the Giants are going to make the playoffs. I'm not predicting that. But if the Giants make the playoffs, Barkley's going to be one of the front runners for MVP. I love Barkley at 100-1. Matter of fact, I don't bet. I might put money on that. 100-1? I'll put $10 on that to win $1,000. You kidding me? 100-1 is a steal. I agree, Andres, but for 100-1, it's worth a shot. Simmons once in time, left talent. Let's see what we got here. I've been a Giants fan since the 80s. Coming into the season has the most question marks of any of what we were going to look. Yeah, well, real New York Giants fan. We have a lot of cap space. We have a lot of draft picks. We don't know what we're going to do. We got a brand new coaching staff. We don't know how they're going to operate. It is a lot of question marks, but it's exciting, So I agree with you, though. We don't know everything. What would a horrible free agency and draft look like? That is a great question, and I try not to think about that, Kenny. In terms of the draft, the one guy I want no part of is Derrick Brown in the first round. I want no part of Derrick Brown. I've been very open, in terms of I'm very happy with a lot of guys they could go with there. Do not take Derrick Brown. In terms of free agency, if they spend, I think they're going to overspend no matter what. But if they overspend on the wrong players, I'm trying to think of somebody. Oh man, all right, I'll tell you one guy I don't want for sure. James Bradbury. And I think he's realistic. I don't want him. If you're going to spend big money in a corner, get Byron Jones. Don't get James Bradbury. Byron Jones at least has a very high ceiling. I do not want James Bradbury. Do not sign players like that. Yeah, I don't want them overspend. They're going to overspend anyway, but don't overspend on the wrong players. Yeah, someone like that. And Jacob, man, thanks so much, man, for the $5 super chat. He says, Simmons or Jeff, what rookie you think will make the biggest impact on the Giants' defense? I'll tell you what, man, that is a great question. And I'll tell you my answer, but I cannot fully answer that until after free agency. Because if they get Littleton, if they get Van Noy, I probably am going to say Okuda. But right now, the roster constructed as is because of how weak we are at that linebacker position and how important it is to guard the center of the field. I've got to go with Isaiah Simmons, the way that the roster is currently constructed. But if they filled out that linebacking core, say they brought in Van Noy and they brought in Littleton, I would go with Okuda. That would have a bigger impact. So right now I go Simmons, but that could change after free agency. Byron Jones might be a little cheaper. I don't think Byron Jones is going to be cheaper. Byron Jones is going to be the top pick cornerback. Byron Jones is going to get $17, $18 million. At least in my opinion. What would a horrible free agency injury? I don't know if your volume's on, Kenny. I answered that. Chris, how soon, what time tomorrow do you think we will start hearing big free agency news? So I've heard conflicting reports on the free agency because in years past, and maybe somebody in the chat could answer this for me. I know that the tag is at noon, but in years past, they've talked to these players at midnight. Now I don't know if that's the case here. They've talked to players at midnight, but some people have told me it's noon. Some people have told me it's 4 o'clock. I've got work at 5, so if something big happens, you will not see my reaction until 11. I'm hoping it happens earlier in the day, or at least we get some leakings earlier in the day so I get some content up. But I'll tell you this right now. I'm not off till 11 o'clock tomorrow, but if something big happens, I will be live at like 11:30. And I'll definitely have some video content up for you guys later in the night. And obviously throughout the day the next day. I work earlier in the day the next day, which sucks, but I'm off at 5, and I'll get some things up early in the morning, and I'll definitely go live after work if something big happens on Tuesday. But I'll try to get out as much content as I can for you guys. Jeff, man, thank you so much, man, for the $2 super chat. He says, I think Becton would be the pick if it's the O-line. I think a lot of people agree with you, Jeff. I think it's very torn, though. I think Becton makes a lot of sense because it's exactly what Daniel Jeremiah said from the start. Dave Gettleman loves big hog mollies, and that's exactly what Mekhi Becton is. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they take Mekhi Becton at all. And I've been consistent here. Even though I've been a guy that said I want to go offensive line, I want to trade down and go offensive line. I would prefer not to take an offensive tackle at 4 because I still think you're going to get that offensive tackle at 6. I still think you're going to get that offensive tackle at 7. So if they're going to take an offensive tackle, I want them to trade down. We'll see if it's possible. But something tells me in the back of my mind, and some things that I've heard, I think they're going to take Isaiah Simmons if he's there. Malik says, Chris, is there any good underrated corners late rounds? Oh, man. Again, there's a couple of names I give you, and I hate getting a super chat to a question I can't give a great answer to. I have to do more research on the later corners before I give you a full. My attention the last 3 weeks has been free agency, and sprinkling in draft. I'm definitely going to put a lot more attention to those late round prospects, and I'll definitely have videos up on them. I don't think I'm going to have dedicated videos to individual players, but what I will probably do, along with 7-round mock drafts, I will probably have videos up on late round cornerbacks that the Giants could look at, and then list 5 or 6 late round linebackers, late round tackles. So I'll definitely have content up like that, and I'll definitely let you know, man, for sure. But I don't want to give you an answer to something I don't know that well. Jacob Kaiser with the $5 super chat. He says Todd McShay and the Giants' biggest need, is quarterback. He is on acid, or should we really think about drafting Tua? Todd McShay, when he came out with that, I lit him up on fire. When he came out with that report. It was ridiculous. Todd McShay is the type of person that, listen, man, I had a reaction on draft night. Okay, it was all over the internet. I'm not proud about it. And I was a fan. It was my instant reaction. I was not happy. But I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong. There's going to be times when you have a sports channel or just you're a sports fan in general, you're going to be wrong. Everybody thinks they're right at that point in time, but you're going to be wrong a lot of times, especially when you form your own opinion and you don't just follow, the media. But Todd McShay is the type of guy that when he's wrong, he won't admit it. He just won't. He won't admit it. He's like PFF. PFF's the same way. Malik, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, "What are the options again for trading down?" Okay, the options for trading down. We could trade. There's a lot of teams we could trade down with. You could trade down from 4 to 5 with the Dolphins, depending on the situation, depending on what they need. You could trade down from 4 to 6 with the Chargers. Okay, I'm gonna break down all the trade scenarios right now and what I think the Giants would get in each. Now I'm going to do my favorite thing I did last year. If you guys are new to my channel, my favorite thing I've ever done on this channel, and my old-time subscribers know it, was the Gettleman Project. I absolutely love that. Putting myself in the mind of Dave Gettleman and orchestrating scenarios in the draft. I did one episode of it so far this year. It was with the Chargers, and then I said, all right, let me slow down because I want to see what happens in free agency. I want to see where these quarterbacks go. But my Gettleman Project this year is going to be that. It's going to be the Giants trading down out of the 4 spot and orchestrating each scenario and then showing you guys what players we would get with those picks. With the Chargers, I traded down from 4 to 6. I got the 6th, and I got the 37th and a future 2nd. So I think that's the price you would get if you trade from 4 to 6. 4 to 5, I think you're getting the 5th and a 2nd-round pick with the Dolphins. If you go 4 to 12 with the Raiders, I think you're getting 12, 19, and a future 3rd. If you go 4 to 13, I think you get the Bucks, or the Colts at 13, rather. I think you get the Colts and Bucks are probably about the same price. I think you're getting the 13th or the 14th if you trade down with either one of those two teams. Maybe a 3rd-round pick in this year's draft and a future 1st. I think those would be the price tags for each one of those trade down scenarios. If I had to guess. Jaguars 9 and 20. I think that's what you're looking at. Tom Ty, man, thanks so much, man, for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that, man. He says, "What's your day job? Please quit and do this full time." I have a part-time job. I used to have a full-time job, and my goal is to have this be my full-time job one day. But yeah, I used to have a full-time job, and I said to myself, I realized how much I love talking sports on YouTube, and I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. Hopefully I do one day. But I said I want to try to pursue something I love to do. So, this is kind of I have 2 part-time jobs right now. But yeah, I mean, my dream one day is to do this full-time, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's somewhere else. But yeah, that's my goal one day. Yeah, for sure, man. Maybe the Giants will find me one day and they'll be like, we gotta get this guy. We gotta get this guy. But Tom, thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. And Jacob, man, thanks for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, "What wide receiver do you like in the late round that could be Darius Slayton last year?" I'm thinking the wide receiver from Baylor. The wide receiver from Baylor. Baylor. You're not. No, wait. You're not talking about Mims. Mims is Baylor, right? You're not talking about Mims. Mims is gonna go first or second round. I like Andy Golden. I do. I really like Andy Golden. I know he's a raw prospect, but in the 4th or 5th round, I like Antonio Gandy Golden. I also like the guy from USC, but I like Andy Golden. Stay single, bro says. Yeah, I'm a full-time stripper. I'm Nikki. Yeah, Mims won't get out of the 2nd. Yeah, Pittman. Pittman from USC. I like him. I think Pittman has a pretty high upside. I do like Pittman. What's going on, Noah, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Who are your top 4 tackles in the draft? I mean, I think it's the same 4 tackles as everybody else. It's just a matter of the order you put them in, but in no specific order. It's Wills, Wirfs, Becton, and Thomas. Yeah, I think those are the top 4 in any specific order. What's going on, Indria? Yeah, I like Pittman a lot. I'm a big fan of Pittman. OGR, One Giant Rebuttal. I don't think he's been here tonight, but he's always been a great supporter of my channel. He's got a channel. He did now I think his channel name is OGR Sports, so go check him out. But he did a draft profile video on Pittman, and I've done. After that, I watched his film a little bit. I like Pittman. Pittman's got sure hands. He's not a guy with an immense ceiling, but he's a good wide receiver. I like Pittman. Rare Form with the $5 super chat. He says, "Give me Simmons, the freak athlete. Ever since drafting Flowers, I'm out on taking an offensive lineman in the top 10. We got to get the defense out of the basement." And I completely understand, man. I completely understand Giants fans that are scared to take an offensive tackle. I do. Eric Flowers was an atrocious draft pick. So I completely get why people would be scared. And I completely get I'll tell you what, I think I mentioned it in my last stream. I had a subscriber of mine bump into me at my part-time job. And he said, he came right up, he didn't recognize me at first. And then he did a double take. And he said, you're the Giants guy. And then he came to me with that exact take. He said, I'm scared. I don't want to take an offensive lineman. We've had bad success with the offensive lineman in the past. We need to fix this defense. We need to fix the linebacker. And I completely get the mindset. The linebacking core for the New York Giants has been atrocious. Since I've been watching the team, they haven't drafted a linebacker early in the draft in forever. Their most successful linebacker was Antonio Pierce, the free agent. I get everybody's mindset. And I've said countless times, time and time again, I think that the linebacker is the most undervalued position in football. I really do. You can make an argument that the coverage linebacker is just as important as anything in today's game. When the quarterback is getting the ball out in 2 seconds, you're not getting to him most of the time anyway. You need guys that can take away the slot, take away the guys up the seam. So I completely understand Giants' mindsets that especially when you see all these linebackers, the tight ends burning our linebackers time and time again. I understand it, guys. I really do. I just think the way I look at it is this. This is my mindset. I see a bunch of super chats, guys. Thank you for the love, man. The way I look at it is this. The way the New York Giants are currently constructed, I honestly don't think this is a 1-year fix. I think this is a 2-year fix. I think it's going to take 2 years to fix what we need to fix. And if I'm the GM, if I'm Dave Gettleman, I'm not even going to talk about saving my job. Because Dave Gettleman, to keep his job, I think Daniel Jones has to play well, and he has to think about that. But I'm not even going to talk about that. If this is a 2-year fix, and I'm going into it like that, I look at it like, I need to fix the offensive line. I need to fix the defense. And it really doesn't matter what order I do it in. It's going to take 2 years. I'd rather fix the offensive line first. That's just my personal opinion because I don't want my quarterback to get killed. I know I'm going to have to fix it this year or the next. So that's my mindset. But I'm not going to cry. I know we need to fix the defense. Believe me, I know we need to fix the defense. I stream those games. I watch the 3rd and 10s. I watch the 3rd and 15s. It's horrible. It's a bad defense. And Rudy, thank you so much, man, for the $5 super chat. He says, let's get a petition going to mandate the Giants make Dana to be their official YouTuber. Also get him training, field, and locker room access. Let's go. I would love that. And I'm going to try, Rudy, to go to training camp this year. I don't know if I'm going to get any field access, but I'm going to try to go to training camp and at least maybe have a video there and talk about what I saw at least once, if not twice, maybe 3 times. But that'd be awesome if I got to talk to the players. That'd be incredible. That's something I'm going to try to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to try to do it. Jacob, man. No, man. Thank you, Jacob, man. Thank you so much for your incredible generosity tonight, man. He said, we should trade Evan Ingram and start Smith at tight end and draft a late-round tight end that can catch and block. You're preaching to the choir with Evan Ingram, but the price has to be right. But you're preaching, for me, you're preaching to the choir. I've been talking about trading Evan Ingram now for months. And it has nothing to do with me not liking Evan Ingram. It has everything to do with the fact that I don't think the New York Giants see him in the long-term plans. And if you could get something for him, it's better to do it now before you can't. If they see him in the long-term plans, keep the guy. I see the guy's got immense talent. He's got potential. He's got to stay on the field. But thank you so much, man, for the love. I appreciate it. Man, Lib Hunters, man, thanks for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, I think we're trading with the Jags so they can get Okudah and Unique. Okudah and Unique will be in the deal. I think we're trading with the Jags so they can get Okudah and Unique will be in the deal. Okay, I get that because they lost both their cornerbacks. You think they're going to want a cornerback? It's possible. They could also want to move up and get a quarterback. If they don't think that either one of their guys, I mean, Minshew played well, but I mean, at the end of the day, Minshew was a late round draft pick, and Nick Foles didn't play well at all. So they could also move up to get a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I would think if the Jaguars are moving up, they're going to want a quarterback, but maybe they do want Okudah. It's possible, but the Lions would have to pass on him for that to happen. Oh man, thanks so much, man. Malik for the $5 super chat. It says, thanks, Chris. It's so confusing. I only can figure out just the Chargers and Dolphins and Raiders, and I make sure I get married. Well, I hope your marriage is going well, Malik. And thanks again for love, man. But yeah, and really the only realistic trade scenarios for the Giants, in my opinion, are Dolphins, Chargers, Jaguars, Panthers, maybe 7. That's possible. If they wanted a quarterback, Raiders, Colts, Bucks. I think those are your 7 possibilities. Justin, man, have a great night, man. Someone again tell me why we had to beat them Redskins. Yeah, Casey's not happy. Casey's not happy. Who is your favorite Giant of all time? The card coach says. My favorite Giant of all time. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a quick story about my Giant fanhood. My dog who just passed away, not trying to make anybody cry, but my dog who just passed away about 2 months ago, I named her Tiki when I was a kid. So my first love with the New York Giants was Tiki Barber. Now that is, of course, before Tiki Barber did what he did. But Tiki Barber was my first guy. I love Tiki Barber. I loved him. But it is not even close. My favorite New York Giant of all time is Eli Manning. I love Eli Manning. I love everything he meant to the organization. I love the way he handled himself. I thought he was the epitome of a role model. I thought he was an epitome of a New York Giant. That is my guy. You know, I don't go back to Lawrence Taylor. I say that all the time. I saw Taylor at the tail end of his career. In my lifetime, Eli Manning's my guy. He will always be my guy. I love everything. You know, the two greatest memories of my sports life. I'm a Met fan and I'm a Knicks fan outside of the Giants. It's those two Super Bowls. And Eli Manning had a ton to do with it. I mean, you know, escaping the play, the throw to Tyree, that year, the second Super Bowl year with Eli Manning, what he did, all the hate and the doubt he got going into the year, the whole elite thing on the radio, I loved it. I loved how he overcame all that. He was an MVP candidate that year. I say it all the time. I don't care what the stats say. He put the team on his back that year. He should have been definitely considered for the MVP. And I just love everything he did for the New York Giants. And I always looked at him kind of like a little brother and a guy that I just loved and admired, man. I loved him as an athlete, loved him as a person, and he's my guy. I love Eli Manning. He's my favorite Giant. Definitely my favorite Giant. But there's a number of others. You know, like I love Michael Strahan. I love Justin Tuck. I love Justin Tuck. You know, there's a number of others, but Eli's my guy. Jacob, man, thanks so much for the love, man. He says, $5 super chat. He says, what will be your reaction if we get Derek Brown or a wide receiver? Not happy, but I have made it a promise that I will not react the way I did when we took Daniel Jones. Because when you're on YouTube, especially when I was like newer, I didn't realize like it could embarrass the fan base. And after the fact, and I got all these messages from Giants fans telling me you embarrassed the fan base, I felt bad. You know, like I felt like I let the Giant fan base down. So I'm gonna make it a point this year to not flip out. I'm going to voice my displeasure if they take a wide receiver or a defensive tackle. That's for sure. I will not be happy. That's for damn sure. But I don't think you're gonna see me flip out like that. But I will not be happy. I will not be happy. And Stephanie, thank you so much for the super chat. $5 super chat says, what about the undiscovered players though? There seems to be an interesting O-lineman there. Maybe we should look into it. What do you mean, like late round draft picks? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about guys on the roster? In terms of guys on the roster, I mean, yeah, there's a number of guys that people have talked about that they want to see get an expanded role. Yeah, and I do think that they need to draft offensive linemen late in this draft. Similar to what they did last year with George Osafo-Ajay, I think you need to try to add depth offensive linemen, both at the guard, the center, the tackle, all over the roster. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think in the later rounds, we definitely need to look to address the offensive line and maybe even find some guys in, undrafted free agents. That's something I'll definitely be doing videos on as well. Sometimes you find diamond in the roughs. There are tons of guys that were very good New York Giants that were undrafted free agents. Victor Cruz being one of them. Thank you so much, Michael, for the $5 super chat. He says, how is the Nate Solder situation going to play out? In my humble opinion, and I made that video because a lot of my subscribers told me to make the video, and I looked into it, and it was an interesting topic. It really was something to think about, because you could spread out the cap hit over 2 years. You know, it's almost like if you know you're taking the 6.5 next year, you're taking a 6.5 now both years instead of 13 this year. I think it's an interesting situation, but I just think I look at the Giants' offensive line right now. You've already got two holes. If you were to cut Solder, yes, you're saving $13 million on this year's cap, but you still got to fill in 3 offensive linemen. I just don't see it. I think they're going to roll with Solder one more year. I could be wrong, but I do think Solder. I do think they're going to roll with Solder one more year, and they're going to hope that the new coaching staff could get more out of him than the previous one. I think they've brought in a lot of good coaches with this team, and I do think that hopefully they could get more out of the players than the previous staff did. I think they're going to roll with Solder one more year. I do not think he'll be back with the Giants in 2021. I think they take the cap hit then, but I think this year you'll see Solder. Malik, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, about to go to sleep, Chris, but you must have forgot I'm still in school. Remember, future Giants player 2026. Halfback, wide receiver, linebacker. I'm going to be playing with everyone. I cannot wait. Malik, man, get some sleep, man. You're not out of school, huh? You're not. I would think most people are out of school right now, but I cannot wait, Malik, to call your games, man. If you're on the Giants, man, can't wait, buddy. Hopefully you're on the starting lineup, and I do the play-by-play. But man, thanks for the love, man. Thank you for being such a great supporter of the channel. Jacob, man, $5 super chat. He says Chase Young and Simmons is both on the board because Skins trade out in Lions draft. Who you? I'm taking. I know a lot of Giants fans might not want to hear this because I know a lot of Giants fans are very pro Isaiah Simmons at this point in time, and I get it. I love Isaiah Simmons. I'm taking Chase Young. With Chase Young, you're getting a guy that is a slam dunk, top tier edge rusher, in my opinion. I say it all the time. You look at the best edge rushers in the drafts over the last 5-6 years. They all turned out good. I think of any position in football, when you're drafting in the top 10, that is the safest, that you know you're going to get a return on investment, it is that position. I think Chase Young is the safest player in this draft. I think it's a no-doubt pick if he's there. I would go Chase Young. I wouldn't think twice. Thank you so much, Lib Hunters, with the $5 super chat. He says, how would you feel about double-dipping a tackle in the first and second round if the Giants guys are there? I wouldn't mind it. The calls are not working, Slurpee. But Sports Influencer's got a channel. Go check him out, by the way. How would I feel about a tackle in the first and the second round? Oh, man. I mean, listen, man, I love the hog mollies. I love the hog mollies. But I would think no. At that point, if we take a tackle in the first, I want to go defense. I want to either go with a guy like Bourne or Matos or a center. If you're going to double dip on the offensive line, get a center. I wouldn't cry about that. If you go tackle center, tackle pass rusher, tackle linebacker, I think those are your options. But I do not want to go tackle. But I do love the hog mollies. Thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate it. And Malik, man, oh, thank you so much, man. He says, oh, yeah, my track season might be over from the virus. Oh, man, sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, man, the virus is killing everybody, man, in terms of their plans and everything else. But, yeah, man, stay safe. Everybody stay safe out there. But, yeah, thank you for the love, man. I appreciate it. Where do you think Caleb on Chason will go? That is Rover Sports' favorite player in this year's draft. And I can't believe this is great, man. It is 11:20, and it's just flying, man. You guys, I love talking to you guys about the Giants. I love Caleb on Chason. The problem is we can't take him at 4. It's just he's not developed enough to take him that early. That is a player that fits the Giants so perfectly. He is incredibly versatile. I love him. We can't take him. If we traded down with the Raiders, we could take him. I don't think he gets past the Falcons. I think the Falcons pick at 16. I would be surprised if Caleb gets past there. Patriots would be a great fit. I don't think he gets there. I'd be shocked if he gets past the Falcons. What's going on, Ethan? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Speed kills, Malik says. Yeah, man. Staying up at 3 in the morning with Watch Chris talking Giants. Let's go, man. Man, you're the man, dude. All the way. I think you're from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. One of my best, man. What draft pick has had the biggest stock drop? I think I know your answer. Yeah, I mean, it's one of two guys for me. At least from the mocks and, at least from what you've seen at the combine. One of them I think is somewhat justified. The other one I think is not. Andrew Thomas and A.J. Epinesa. I think those have been the two, in terms of guys that were thought to be, early to mid-first round talents. I think those are the guys that you're starting to see leak into the back end of the first round. Now, Andrew Thomas may still go top 10. He may go 4. But, based on mocks, I would say those two have dropped the most. Oh, God, soccer. I don't do soccer. Never give up on your draft. Yeah, I appreciate that, Yuri, man. D-Rose is a great subscriber of mine, too. I always see him comment on the chat. Type 1 if you want Isaiah. Andy Garcia wants Isaiah Simmons bad. Do you think Leonard will get tagged? I honestly do not. I do not think Leo's going to get tagged. I think it would have happened already. We've got now like 12 hours before the deadline. No. I don't think Leo's going to get tagged. I thought, if you would have asked me that a couple weeks ago, I would have said yes, but no. I honestly do not think Leonard Williams will be tagged by the New York Giants. I'd be surprised at this point if he was. But, we'll find out tomorrow. We'll wake up tomorrow and we'll probably have that answer. What will be your reaction Jacob said, thank you for the super chat, by the way. He says, what will be your reaction in the draft in the first? If I don't know what you're saying there, Jacob. I don't want you to have to super chat again. Maybe it was a typo. I'll wait to see one of your next comments. Just type it again. What will be your reaction if we draft a BE in the first round? Maybe it was a typo. Or maybe I'm just silly right now. I will look for your comment there. Leo not getting tagged make you worried about a D Brown. Duran, I've said that time and time again. I think it's possible. I do if they don't bring back Leo. Oh, running back. Running back. Oh, running back. You didn't have to super chat, man. You didn't have to super chat. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, man. A running back in the first round, that would be the worst. That would be okay. If they take a running back at 4, which will never happen, it will make the Daniel Jones reaction look PG. If they took a running back at 4, it'd make the Daniel Jones reaction look PG. It's not going to happen. No chance. But if they did, I'd go bananas. What's up, Made by Kicks? Great subscriber of mine. Yeah, it would make my Daniel Jones reaction look PG if they drafted a running back at 4. The compilation of the Daniel Jones draft reaction is the best thing Would you pay Conklin $21 million? Ah, man, I love Jack Conklin, but $21 million's a lot. I don't know. I don't know if I would, but I'm not going to cry if they do, because I recognize how important he would be to this offensive line. I just get goosebumps thinking about literally the best run blocker in football, or one of. You could certainly make the case that he is. Saquon Barkley running behind that guy. I get goosebumps thinking about it. I do. I can't help it. But $21 million is a lot of money for a right tackle. A lot of money. Let's see what we got here. Tana, you the man. Appreciate you for helping us get. Yeah, man, I appreciate all you guys. How much would you pay for Eli to come back? Eli's done. I love Eli. You know, I'm always going to remember all the good times with Eli, but Eli's done. And I'm glad he retired as a Giant. You know, I'm glad he didn't go off and play somewhere else. I'm glad he retired as a Giant. Would you rather a 3-4 or a 4-3? I'm one of these guys that, you know, I know there's a lot of Giants fans. You know, I know because I'm a YouTuber. I talk to you guys all the time. I know there's a lot of Giants fans that hate the 3-4, right? Because, and I love the 4-3. I probably prefer the 4-3. But at the end of the day, it comes down to personnel. And, you know, I look at the best. There's a little pizza from Rudy T. Dan, are you familiar with the position of strength with the Redskins line? Now I forgot the question I was answering. And I want to get to Rudy's question, but I saw the pizza and I got excited. I love pizza. Man, I forgot what I was asking. I forgot what I was answering. Oh, I'll get back to it. Rudy threw me off with the pepperoni pizza. He says, Tana, are you familiar with the position of strength of the Redskins LBs versus the edge rushers? Are you asking are the Redskins stronger at the edge rusher or the linebacker? I would probably say edge rusher, but I don't know the Redskins well enough. I know that they invested a first-round pick in Montez Sweat last year. I think they still have Ryan Kerrigan. If that's what you're asking, I would probably say edge rusher. Jacob Kaiser with the 3-4 versus the 4-3. Yes. Yeah, I know a lot of people hate the 3-4 because we were a 4-3. We were successful with the 4-3. We won 2 Super Bowls with the 4-3. But I look at the best defenses in football. A lot of them are 3-4. So, to me, it's personnel. At the end of the day, it's personnel. You got to have the coaching. You got to have the players. If you have the right personnel, you have the right defensive coordinator, both systems can be incredibly successful. The problem the New York Giants did, they had nobody on their team. They were paying all these players that were meant to play in a 4-3 all this money, and then they come in and they switch to a 3-4 when they got players that aren't meant to play in a 3-4. So they didn't do the transition right. But I do think you could be successful with either one. You know, the Ravens, the Patriots, there's tons of 3-4s. So, Jacob Kaiser, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, what if Joe Burrow falls to 4? What do you think we could get from a trade on draft day? What if... not happening. There's no way. But if he ever fell to 4, we would get everything under the sun. There's no way. There's no way. 0.000% chance. But if he fell to 4, we would get name it. It would be whatever you want. It would be a lot. Not happening. Not happening. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. A couple of two, three first round picks from somebody. A lot. Um, let's see what we got here. What linebacker would you rather have in free agency? I'd rather have Joe Schobert. I like both of them. There's another guy we haven't talked enough about, the guy from the Bears. But he's a good value linebacker. But I'd rather have Schobert. I think Schobert is Schobert's undervalued. I think he's actually a lot better in coverage than people realize. I like Schobert. I like Patrick Queen too. Lestat. I'm a big fan of Patrick Queen. I don't think he'll be there in the second round though. Name me the top 3 guys you want the Giants to sign in free agency. All right. Factoring in money. I've been asked this a couple times. I think it was top 2 before. I'm factoring in everything. I'm factoring in fit. I'm factoring in being cost effective. I still like Littleton a lot. I like Littleton. I like Van Noy because of his familiarity with the system. I think he's a good player. I think he's a heads-up player. I think he can do a lot of things that the Giants would look to do. And I don't think he's going to cost a ton. I think you get him for 11, maybe 3 years, $33 million. And I would love Fuller. You know, I don't think we're going to get him, but I would love Fuller for maybe 11 as a slot corner. I would love that. You get those types of players, it would help our coverage so much. Jacob, $2 super chat. He says, but the Bengals, Skins, and Lions don't have very good GMs. They don't. You're right. This is true. That's why they're picking where they're picking. I'm not trying to knock Dave Gettleman. Everybody knows I like Dave Gettleman for the most part. You're right. But if they did that, I'll tell you what right now. If Joe Burrow is there at 4, all 3 of those guys should not see the end of the draft. They should all be fired. There's no way. But even if they don't want Joe Burrow, you trade out of the pick. You have to take Joe Burrow. The Bengals are taking Joe Burrow. And then maybe I look like a fool. But I think the Bengals are taking Joe Burrow. They're taking Joe Burrow. Schobert, Littleton, Jones, I'll be happy. Let's see what we got here. Would Chase Young change our team like Bosa for the 49ers? Emmanuel says. Would Joe Bosa change our team? Would Chase Young change our team? I don't think one. Yeah, he's definitely going to help our team, but we still need to improve in all the other areas. Now, the thing people forget with that 49er defense, they had some pretty good pieces in place to begin with, and they had a D Ford. It wasn't just Bosa. So I think they had a couple of other pieces as well. So yeah, Bosa had a lot to do with it, and Chase Young would have a lot to do with improving any defense. But one player doesn't make a defense. But he would certainly help. Wouldn't hurt. And Malik, man, thanks so much, man, for the love, man. I thought you were going to bed. Malik with the $2 super chat. He says, "Oh my God, Christ, I can't go to sleep. I have no school. I can't sleep sometimes too. Sometimes I stay up. I watch YouTube videos. I watch movies. But thanks for the love, man. Sincere Blue 24, man. Thanks for the love, man. I appreciate the love, man. Trade with the Chargers. Draft Simmons, Beatish, and Delpit. Okay, so in that situation, you're getting your center. Okay, because you're gonna have 2 back-to-back second-round picks. So with those 2 picks, you're taking Delpit and you're taking Beatish. Yeah, or Ruiz maybe. That's not bad. That's really not bad, Sincere Blue, because you're getting your linebacker, you're filling in the center, and you're getting Delpit, who I think he's being underrated. I love Grant Delpit. That guy is huge for a safety. He's a playmaker. I like him a lot. Yeah, that's not bad. It may not be our biggest need, and maybe we go other ways there. But yeah, I wouldn't be upset with Delpit. I like Delpit. I would like a tackle, though. I continue to say that, but maybe you could address it in free agency in that situation. Lionheart, thank you so much for the love, man. He says, should we go defense or best player available offense since in rebuild? Should we go defense or best player available? Okay. Well, to me, Lionheart, it's not. We're not going. If we're going offense, in my opinion, we're going tackle. We're going offensive line if we're going offense. So it's best available offensive tackle or best available defensive player, regardless. I mean, you take the best player there at the end of the day. And like Gettleman and Judge have said from the start, they're using free agency to set up the draft. That's what they're doing. And that's what good teams do. That's what everybody should be trying to do. And to me, this is the thing. If the Giants feel Isaiah Simmons is a can't-miss prospect. He's Saquon Barkley, right? They felt that way about Saquon Barkley. If they have that feeling about Isaiah Simmons, they're not letting him go. They're taking him. They just are. I'm a tackle guy. If they think Isaiah Simmons is that game changer, they're going to take him because you don't let game changers get by you, especially when they're in an area of need. Where I can argue the tackle is the biggest area of need, which I think it is. Some people argue linebacker because of the young quarterback, because of how bad our offensive line is, but you could certainly argue defense. But because linebacker is still a big area of need, if they love Simmons, they're taking him. Let's see what we got here. Raymond, man. Raymond's a great subscriber, man. Thank you so much, man. I did my film study. Wills is the best, not even close. A lot of people say that. A lot of people are very high on Jedrick Wills. I've watched some film, and he does look good. The biggest, I say it all the time, the biggest knock on Becton, if you watch any film study, and you could see it, if you watch any film study, the biggest knock on Becton is his technique. He doesn't extend his arms. He's got the longest arms, but he doesn't use them the right way. That's the biggest knock on Becton. Wills is pretty technically sound. I think Wirfs is pretty technically sound. I think Thomas is pretty technically sound. They all have their faults, but a lot of people agree with you, and they think Wills is the best all-around offensive lineman. A lot of people agree with you. Jacob, man, thanks for the love, man. $5 super chat. He said, saw an old vid. You said re-sign Barkley next offseason, but I thought you couldn't re-sign rookie until the final year of their contract. Yeah, no, Jacob. No, you can. This is, some people may disagree with this when it comes, and thank you again, man, Jacob. Some people may disagree with this, but you look at some of the other running backs. A lot of times they will sign their extension after 3 years. They will not wait till the conclusion of their rookie contract. Todd Gurley didn't work out. He got hurt. But Todd Gurley signed it after 3 years. Ezekiel Elliott signed it after 3 years. My reasoning why I would extend Barkley after 3 years, if he's healthy. He's got to be healthy this year, right? He's got to have a good year. He's got to be healthy. But if Barkley's in your long-term plans anyway, if you wait 2 more years, you're still going to be paying him a lot of money because he was the second overall pick. He's going to make like $10 million next year. He's going to make like 11 or whatever the year after that. He's going to make like $10 or $11 million a year the next 2 years. And then you're going to have to extend him on a 4 or 5 year contract because you're not franchise tagging Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley will hold out. And you're not going to do that to Saquon Barkley. He's your franchise player. So, my thinking is this. If you wait 2 more years, you're going to have to pay him up until the age of 30 on a top tier contract. He's going to hit free agency at 25, 26. You're going to have to pay him till 30, 31 on a 5-year deal. If you do it after 3, you're going to pay him till 28, and then you work out a short-term deal after that if he's still healthy and playing well. And the salary cap only goes up. So if the salary cap is, say, I don't know, 250 after next year, in 2 years it's going to be 280. And he's going to, if his market is $18 million, let's just say after next year, it'll be 23 in 2 years. So the longer you wait, the more you're going to have to pay, and the longer you're going to have to pay him for in terms of his age. Running backs break down around 29. I would try to extend him after his 3rd year. If he's going to be here anyway, I would want to pay him when he's at his best. That's my mindset on Saquon Barkley, if I was a GM. Moves, man, have a great night, man. Question, is Hernandez still in your future plans for the cannoli hunger? Yes. He's the king of the cannolis. If you want Gettleman to draft Simmons, clap your hands. Who would have the biggest impact on the defense, Chase Young or Isaiah Simmons? I would say, I'm still saying Chase Young. Just got back from, thanks, Afghanistan's great, by the way. I don't know if I shouted him out in the stream yet. He's friggin' awesome. Just got back from dinner. You're still live. I still am live. Like, no, I've been live. This has been live, man. This has been a lot of fun, man. I've had almost 300 people in here the whole time asking questions. I love my subscribers, and I know, you know, it's a time right now where there's not a lot to watch on TV, and we're all anxious about free agency. We want to talk sports, so I'm having a lot of fun tonight, man. I really am. Let's see what we got. Chris, have you ever gotten Phil Mickelson as a competitor? I don't get Phil Mickelson. I've never gotten Phil Mickelson, and I'm not a lefty, Sonor, but I do like golf. What realistic pick do you like least at 4? Oh, that's easy. Derek Brown. Don't want him. Yetur Gross-Matos in the 2nd. I'm not ruling that out, David. I think that's a possibility, Yetur Gross-Matos in the 2nd. I actually like him a lot. I did a video on him. I like his story a lot. Do you watch Big Blue Kickoff too, or nah? You're better. LOL, keep it up. Big Blue Kickoff. Big Blue Kickoff. I'm not I try to watch as much Giants content as I can. I try to support, as many Giants video makers as I can. I don't have a lot of time between, all the content I do and working my other job. I don't have a lot of time, but, I think I've heard of them. I watch, I watch Kid Blue whenever I can. I watch One Giant Rebuttal whenever I can. Obviously, I support Bad Dog, Fist Vegas, people I've worked with in the past, Rover. I've tried to be a part, I guess, of building a good Cop Pizzle. I like Cop Pizzle. I know Cop Pizzle ruffles feathers, and not everybody likes him, but I've met haven't met, but I've talked to Cop Pizzle off YouTube several times, and he's always been nice to me. I always tell the story how he was one of the first guys to reach out to me. I've always had a really good experience with him. So, I try to support everybody in the Giants community. I'm sure I've seen them, but I don't know them, off the top of my head. Jacob, man, thanks so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Would you have used the tag on? Who would you use the tag on if you let Leonard Williams test free agency? Okay, well, somebody brought up Golden earlier. I would not do that because he'd be $19 million. I honestly don't think there's a guy in this roster that I would franchise tag outside of Leonard Williams. There's not, because everybody's under contract for the most part. They're all on rookie deals. Of the free, because none of the other guys are going to be worth what a franchise tag would cost. The only two guys you could even debate, unless I'm wrong, somebody in the chat tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's anybody else you could debate other than Leonard Williams or Marcus Golden. And I would. Leo's the only guy I would take because Marcus Golden would cost like 18 or 9, whatever it is, an absorbent amount of money for a franchise tag as an edge rusher. So no. Raymond, $2 super chat. He says, "Would you stream the draft in here or in Bad Dogs?" Oh, I have no idea, Raymond. I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, me and Bad Dog, we always alternate. So if we do the first round there or here, we'll do the second round on the other guy's channel. We always try to be as fair as we can with each other. That's one thing I'll say about Bad Dog. He's always been incredibly fair. Like, I mean, we just try to support each other's channel. That's what I love working with. Bad Dog and me have just been on opposite schedules right now. That's the only reason we haven't been working as much together. But yeah, I love Bad Dog. He's always been really supportive of my channel. Always nice to me ever since I started. So, we would, whatever, we would just do the other channel. Stand up, Long Island fan. What's going on, D's Nuts? How much weight have you lost? I'm at, last I checked, it was about 203, 204. It was 216. So I'm down about 12 or 13 pounds. Didn't eat great today. So we'll see where I am tomorrow. But I got to get back to working out and get back on it. So my goal is to be about 196 by the end of the month. That's my goal. Let's see what we got here. Who do we got? Appreciate you talking to everybody you can, man. Since you like the tackle in the draft, then who else would you draft? I mean, our biggest areas of need are simple, guys. It's tackle, it's center, it's late rounds wide receiver, it's edge rusher, it's every position on the damn team. But no, I mean, in order, I would say linebacker, tackle, center. We could use another cornerback. Did I say linebacker? I think I said linebacker. Those are our biggest areas of need. And that's what they got to fill in the draft, That's what they got to fill in the draft. How tall? I am 5'11". That is one thing, by the way. And I was so glad when I got to meet Bad Dog live, okay? Because everybody ragged on me. I don't know why. Everybody just assumed I was short. I don't know if it was my camera angle. And everybody's like, oh, you're like 5 foot. You're like 5'1". Bad Dog said he was whatever, 6 foot or close to 6 foot. I'm there next to Bad Dog. I was taller, or as tall. And that shut everybody up. I'm 5'11". Jacob, thanks so much for the love, man. $5 super chat. He says, if the Skins draft Simmons and the Lions draft Young, who will you draft? If the Skins draft Simmons and the Lions draft Young, I would draft the tackle. I would look to trade down, but I would draft the tackle. But if I'm all right, if your question is and you got to go defense, who would you draft? I would take Okuda. But I would take tackle. I would take the best available, whoever is deemed the best available tackle. Chris, there you go, lying again. You're 4'11", man. I am not 4'11". No, man. He's short, and I'm not making fun of him. I love Kid Blue. One of my favorite people I've ever met off of YouTube. Kid Blue is short. Kid Blue is about 5 foot. He's a legitimate 5 foot. Let's see what we got here. When can teams talk to free agents? Tomorrow. I think it's at noon. Now, I've heard conflicting reports. Some people have told me midnight. Some people have told me noon. I don't know. It's tomorrow, though. You can start talking tomorrow. We're going to start to hear information leak tomorrow, like who the teams talk to first. If there's deals in place, you'll start to hear some information. You were definitely taller than Bad Dog. Someone was exaggerating their height like it was a Tinder profile. These nuts, man. That's funny, dude. Nah, I don't. I mean, I haven't been on Tinder in a while, but I tell you my honest height on Tinder too. I'm honest with you guys. Stand up. What's going on? He'll be back. Bad Dog will be back. Question, entertainer. Do you like AJ? All right, now we're getting silly. Who could you see the Giants trading for either in season or in the off season? I mean, that's tough, man. It would have to be that's tough right now because I don't know where everybody's going to fall. I don't know what teams are going to fall out of it. I don't know who's going to be expendable. But I can tell you positions that they may look well. I can't even tell you that yet because I don't know our roster. But I mean, you got to see how the season unfolds. We don't even know if we're going to be buyers in season. We might be sellers. We don't know. So it's so hard for me to tell you guys. Made by Kick says Dalton going to the Bears. I don't get it. Is that official? Did he go with the Bears? Huh. Interesting. I don't get that either, to be honest with you. It depends on the contract, but I don't get that. Jacob, man, thanks for love, man. $5 super chat. He says, if Taysom Hill is a free agent, would you sign him for a backup quarterback position because he is the king of versatility? Everything I've read, Jacob, and by the way, thank you for your incredible generosity. I keep saying that. Thank you for your incredible generosity. Everything I've read about Taysom Hill and the Saints, they plan on keeping him there long term. They're willing to let Bridgewater go. They want to keep Taysom Hill. I always forget the guy's name. There was the guy from Syracuse last year that the New York Giants brought in that I was excited about because he was supposed to be, like Taysom Hill light, like not as good, but that type of player. I do like having a player like that in your offense that you could come and run a few plays for with RPOs, things like that. Bring him out at the tight end position from time to time. I do like that versatility. I don't ever see him. Well, maybe, but I don't see it in the near future him being available. But I would like to add a player like that to the New York Giants in the future for sure. Dungy, that was the name. Yeah, Dungy. Ryan Dungy, yeah. Oh, Eric Dungy, rather. Eric Dungy. Yeah, Kid Blue was laterally 4 foot. I don't know if he was just saying that. I don't know if it was a rumor. I don't know if that's official. But he said Dalton to the Bears. I don't get it. I don't know if he's just talking about a rumor or if that's official. Actually, what am I saying? That can't be official. Free agency hasn't started yet, so he must be talking about a rumor. Yeah. No matter who we draft, I'm just glad Pat Shurmur is gone. Yeah, and you see the claps there. We got a clapper that replaced him, not as the head coach, but get used to the clapping. Jason Garrett. Do we go late with a wide receiver since we're packed with late picks? The draft is loaded with wide receivers. I do. I do think we're going to take a late wide receiver. I've said that time and time again. I'm going to have my 7-round mock. I do think that the Giants will take a wide receiver in the later rounds, whether that's round 4, 5, 6, 7. They might even take 2. And it'll be a tall wide receiver. If you go back and look at who the New York Giants have interviewed when they were at the Senior Bowl game, when they've been at all these games, everybody that they've interviewed has been like 6'2" or taller. It is clearly evident the type of receiver the New York Giants are looking for. They don't want that 5'11", 6. No, they want 6'3", 6'4". They want those tall guys that could go up and catch the football. So that's what they're going to be looking for in the later rounds. Name the receiver, but that's the type of receiver they're going to be looking at. You're not short, Chris. You're a giant. That's right, Lionheart. By the way, thank you guys again. Schobert over Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez is a good run defender. He's basically like David Mayo. He's a much more accomplished David Mayo, but Blake Martinez is not good in coverage. Joe Schobert is at least adequate in coverage. I would rather Schobert over Blake Martinez. T. Higgins in the second, it's possible. I mean, if they're going to go wide receiver, that's probably the best available that could be there. Damn, I took a nap and you're still going strong. I am still going strong, Pete, because I got the best subscribers in the world, man. I got the best subscribers in the world, and I'll probably go a little bit longer and then get some sleep. But You guys are the best, man. You guys have made this so much fun tonight, and thank you for sticking with me, even with the technical difficulties with the phones. I made it an impromptu Q&A, and you guys stuck around. You hung out with me. We talked Giants all night, and it's been rocking all night. I mean, we've been right around 300 people the entire night, man. So, yeah, man, thank you guys for being the best, man. And I know everybody's on the excited, man, because we got free agency coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun, man, covering it, and not just for the Giants, for everybody, because I'm interested in the whole league. I like to see where all the top players go, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Simon, thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate that. $2 super chat. He says, since you want Wirfs, who would we put at right tackle or left tackle? Well, I mean, if we leave Solder on the team, which I'm assuming we're going to, he's going to stay at left tackle. You're going to have Wirfs at right tackle. Wirfs would be your right tackle, who could potentially shift to guard at some point in time. What are my thoughts on Lloyd Cushenberry? I like Lloyd Cushenberry. I think Lloyd Cushenberry is a solid center. I don't know if I want him in the second round, but I do like him. He's probably my third-ranked center, if I had to say it right now. He's definitely my top 3 or 4 centers. I like Cushenberry at LSU. Malik Thompson, thanks so much for, man, you've been, dude, thank you, man. He says, hey, Chris, I don't know if that's a typo, and he said, hey, Christ, or if he means, hey, Chris. I think he means Chris. But my name is Christopher, so it might have been short there. He says, hey, Christopher, are you going to the Giants and Ravens game? Because I'll be there, and I'll be wearing my Lawrence Taylor jersey. It's funny, my track meets right next to the Redskins' trashy stadium. Is that Giants at Ravens? One thing I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go to a couple of Giants games next year, and I'm going to let you guys know in advance. I was talking to a few people on Twitter. I want to organize something big. I don't know how big we're going to be able to do it, but I want to try to get a lot of Giants fans together with Giants YouTubers, with whatever, people on Twitter. But I'm going to try to go to like 2 Giants games next year, at least one. But I want to try to go to 2, and one of them I'm looking at is the Browns game. Depending on when it is in the year. But I want to go to the Beckham return game, and the other one is probably a Giants Cowboys. But if I'm going to go to 2, it'll probably be Giants Cowboys, Giants Browns. But I definitely want to go to the Giants Browns game because they only they probably won't play them for another 8 years. You see Odell Beckham come back, it'll be a good atmosphere. So those are the 2 games I'm looking at right now. Let's trade for Stephon Diggs and draft Jedrick Wills. I don't see that happening. I honestly don't think we're gonna trade. I don't think we're gonna trade for Stephon Diggs. I really don't. I mean, for what am I talking about? Yeah, for Stephon Diggs. Jedrick Wills we could draft. I don't think we're gonna trade for Stephon Diggs. I'm 5'11", Lestat. Lakers or Bucks? I am actually going to pick the Bucks. I know a lot of people are Lakers guys. I'm going to go with the Bucks. Come to Chicago. Are they? Do they play the Bears? I don't even remember the schedule right now. They play the Bears this year in Chicago? Maybe I'll go to a road game. That'd be fun. I love you, Nick. I love all you guys. You guys are the best. What's going on, Wilhelm? Wilhelm's awesome. Wilhelm is Mr. Offensive Line. Jacob, man. You guys, man. $10 super chat. He says, I heard the ex-Giants coach, Ben McAdoo, wanted to move up to get Patrick Mahomes, but owner said no. Biggest mistake in the last 5 years of the Giants' history. Yeah, that was the rumor that came out, and obviously, in hindsight 2020, yes, that was if it was possible, we'll never know, if it was possible that the Giants would have been able to move up to get him. But yeah, that did come out after the fact that Ben McAdoo wanted he wanted Pat Mahomes. Yeah, he was a big fan of Pat Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, the Giants would look much different if we had Pat Mahomes. Now, to be fair, Pat Mahomes obviously benefits, from having Andy Reid as his head coach and having all those weapons over there in Kansas City. But, yeah, we'd have a much different football team if we had Pat Mahomes. Did you talk about possibly cutting Schultz? Yeah, I did. I made a video on that today, Dilly. I don't know if you saw it, but my opinion on that is, yeah, it makes it interesting that you could spread out the dead cap hit, but at the end of the day, we already have 2 big holes in that offensive line. You're just creating a third to give yourself $13 million in cap. That $13 million in cap is probably not even going to fill the void that is left by Solder. By no means do I think Solder's a good player. I'm hoping with the coaching staff he could get better. I wouldn't move on from Solder this year. I'd move on from him next year when we have more holes filled on the offensive line via the draft and via free agency. I think right now, the grass isn't always green on the other side. Whoever you replace Solder with might be worse. So I would keep Solder for one more year if it was me. Yeah, poor McAdoo. Yeah. Do I think the NFL is scripted? I would like to think not. I mean, I watch it. I love it. And I would like to think not. There are times where I watch it and I'm like, I don't know. Especially when you stream all the games. Anybody that's new to my channel, and I'll probably still do it again next year. Obviously, I stream all the Giant games. I'll try to. I don't know if I'll stream every primetime game like I did last year, but I'll definitely be streaming some, whether it's Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. So I obviously you pay attention a lot when you're calling the game. And there are times where I'm watching it and I'll see the point spread is this, and I'll be like, what? I mean, so I don't think it's scripted. Do I think sometimes maybe there's something going on with the point spread? Maybe. I would like to think it's not. Otherwise, what's the point in watching? If you had to take a tackle at 4, who would it be? Right now, today, Wirfs, if you ask me. I know a lot of people say Wills, and I wouldn't be upset with Wills. Right now, I would say Wirfs. One hot take for free agency or the draft. I don't know what a hot take is. I mean, I know what a hot take is, but I don't know what hot take I could give you. You asked me today. I think we're going to take Simmons. I think we're going to take Simmons. Yeah, at 4, and I think we end up with Van. I really have no hot takes for you guys in the draft or free agency. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think the Giants are going to go for cost-effective veterans in free agency to fill the holes, and I think they're going to probably take Simmons at 4 right now, if you ask me. Do I hate the Cowboys? Does a bear shit in the woods? Is the Pope Catholic? Yes, I hate the Cowboys with every inch of my being. I despise the Cowboys. Yes. Which center did you say you want in the second or third? Ruiz. Ruiz would be my first choice if I was taking a center. What's your favorite movie ever? Are we talking sports movie or are we talking just movie in general? But if we're talking movie in general, I mean, I got to go with Lord of the Rings. I know that's a corny, lame, nerdy answer, but Lord of the Rings, that's my favorite movie ever. I mean, I look at all 3 as one, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick Return of the King. But yeah, I love that movie. Jacob Kaiser, man, thanks for love, man. $2 super chat. He says, who would the Giants draft, Jeff or Simmons? I think it's gonna be Simmons. If those two are available. I think it's gonna be Isaiah Simmons. I'd be surprised if it's not at this point. I think it'll be a tackle or Simmons because he fits exactly what we're looking for. Versatility, linebacker. I mean, Simmons, man. Well, yeah, I love Lord of the Rings. I love it. Godfather's great, too. You can't go wrong with The Godfather. Godfather's great. Is Okudah overhyped, Matt says. I don't think he is. I mean, what do you define as overhyped? Like, I don't know. If you think he's going to be Darrelle Revis, yeah. I don't think he's going to be Darrelle Revis, but I do think he's going to be a very good to great corner in the National Football League. So, I don't think he's overhyped. I think he's going to be very good. I mean, he's got everything you want. I mean, I know he didn't run a blazing 40 time, but he's physical. He's tall. Doesn't commit penalties. He's got all the tools, man. I think Jeff Okudah is going to be a very, very, very good to great cornerback in the NFL. If you're going to go Lord of the Rings, you got to go with the second over the third. BS, man, you're going to kill me for this. And I know most people, and I like talking movies. I like spicing it up when we do a Q&A every once in a while, just to break things up. I know a lot of people are going to kill me for this. First off, I view them all as one movie. The Two Towers, which is the second one, is actually my least favorite. And I know most people, that's their favorite because of the great battle scene. And it has the longest battle scene. I loved it. I actually like The Fellowship a lot more than most people. I know some people say it's boring because it's the start of the story, but I like that. I like the way they develop the story and everything else. I like The Shire. I like all that. So I actually go Return of the King, Fellowship, and Two Towers is third for me. But they're all fantastic. Let's see what we got. My favorite Denzel Washington film. Denzel Washington is freaking awesome. One of my favorite actors ever, actually. I got to go Training Day. But I mean, I love John Q. I love Fallen. If you've ever seen that, that's a very underrated movie. That's one of my favorite underrated movies. Fallen is great. But I gotta go Training Day, man. He was unbelievable in Training Day. Let's see what we got here. Man on Fire was phenomenal. Can you shout me out? Ernest, man, thanks for popping into the stream, man. Um, what other hobbies do you have outside of sports? I'm pretty standard. I'm not like this crazy. I mean, I'm a huge movie guy. I actually, funny story. When I was starting YouTube, I was kind of 50-50. I was looking to pick up a hobby, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was either going to do a movie channel or a sports channel. Obviously, I'm glad I chose a sports channel because it's been fairly successful. But yeah, I would say movies. I love. You name a movie, I've probably seen it. I'm a huge movie guy. Um, yeah, Game of Thrones is great. Game of Thrones is great. Is Julian Love the answer at safety? Well, we're going to find out soon. I think it's too early to tell, but I do think he fits exactly what the New York Giants are looking for. I think he's versatile. He can play in the slot and at the safety position. So we're going to find out soon. I think he's going to get a shot this year. Let's see what we got here. You should do a meetup with subs at a game and have a group of Giants fans. Yeah, no, I said that earlier, Dylan. I'm gonna. I want to this year. I want to plan that out. I want it to be much more organized than last year. I don't know how many baseball fans are in here. I know the baseball season's gotten delayed. I'm a Met fan. And I know a lot of Giants fans are probably Yankee fans. I wanted to try to do a meetup for a baseball game, this year if baseball is ever played again. Even if it's a Met Yankee game, that'd be awesome because I know a lot of you guys are probably Yankee fans, but I wanted to do something like that too. I thought that would be a cool idea. And it's a little more affordable. You don't got to pay $100 and whatever to go to the game. Baseball, you go for $20. So that was another idea I had. Let's see what we got here. Cut Bethea or trade him for a 5th round pick. You're not getting a 5th round pick for Bethea. Bethea's done, man. Let's see what we got here. Let's go Mets, Chad said. Yeah, that's right. What's up, Iselis? I wouldn't answer any personal questions outside of sports. They might be stalkers. Good point. I'm not telling them where I live, man. Let's see what we got. Iselis is a great subscriber of mine, too. He loves the pick'ems. And I'm going to do that a lot more this year. If you had a dream scenario, where can you want to pick in the draft of free agency without being crazy, who would you pick? If I had a dream scenario, dream scenario for me, I guess Conklin and Simmons. I just don't think we're going to get Conklin, but Conklin and Simmons, because then that fills both needs. You get your supreme linebacker, you get your great right tackle, or Littleton and Wirfs. Either way, I'm really happy because I'm getting a tackle I love, and I'm getting my linebacker. Oh man, Jacob, man, you don't have to do all this, man. Thank you so much, man. He said $20 super chat. He says, is it normal for a New Yorker not to have cannolis ever? Like me, and I'm 22 years old. I lived in Queens for 15 years, and I think Jeff from Ohio State is perfect for New York because of the interview and combine. I'm a Mets fan. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're a Mets fan. I love Okudah. I do like Okudah, but I'd rather Simmons if I got to pick between the two. If you're from New York, I don't know if you're Italian, but most New York, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. But I've had a lot of cannolis in my life. And I think most people in New York that have walked into a bakery or been to an Italian restaurant have at least gotten the complimentary cannoli at the end of a meal. But thank you for the love, man. I really appreciate that, man. Thoughts on the coronavirus? Stay away. Be safe. Stay away. How much faith do I have in Caden Smith? Not enough faith to say that he's definitely the full-time tight end going forward, but enough faith in him to see that I want to find out what we have, knowing he's a cost-effective player. I would still, if we plan to move on from Evan Ingram, I'd probably want to still draft the tight end in this year's draft or next to compete with Smith. But I do think, you look at the New York Giants' great teams of the past with Eli Manning. You look at those tight ends. You got Jake Ballard. You've got Kevin Boss. Why can't he be like that? He could be just as good as those players. So I don't think you need one of these Jimmy Graham type tight ends. I thought that was a bad pick from the start. I don't think the Giants ever needed that type of player ever. So I think he could be. I'm not gonna say he definitively will be, but I think he's good enough to try to find out. Oh man, thanks so much, Peter Biscardi, man. What pick would make you flip out of the draft again like last year? Yeah, I've been asked that all night. Running back would do it. That's not gonna happen. But in terms of a realistic player that we could take it for, it would either be. I mean, I'm not flipping out like last year. I'm promising you. I am going to be very upset though if we take Derrick Brown or a wide receiver. Name the wide receiver. If we take a wide receiver at 4 or Derrick Brown, I'd be very upset. Do I think it's gonna happen? No. But if it did, I'd be very upset. Jacob Kaiser, man, thanks so much for the love, man. $2 super chat says, my great-grandmother was 100% Italian. Well, there you go. There you go, man. Thank you for the love, man. I really appreciate that. Do you gamble like slot machines? I do not. If I go to a casino, I'm either playing blackjack. Yeah, blackjack or poker. Was Ryan Conley our middle linebacker, or did he play on the outside? Conley was in the middle. In the middle, for the most part. Yeah, he wasn't really an edge. Who do you hate more, Cowgirls or Beagle? Okay, that's a great question. People ask me that all the time. Who do I hate more, the Cowboys or the Eagles? And it kind of goes with the times. You know, there's certain times in my life. When I was a kid, I was born in 85. So when I was in elementary school, when I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, all the kids had Cowboys jackets and 49ers jackets. And the Cowboys were the best. I hated the Cowboys when I was a kid. Then, as I got older, in more recent times, the Eagles have been the thorn in our side. We've had some good memories against the Cowboys. I can't remember the last time consistently that we've had good memories against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, over the last 15 years, the Philadelphia Eagles are my more hated team. If you would ask me that when I was a kid, I'd have said the Dallas Cowboys. But Philadelphia Eagles. Austin Jackson in the second. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. It is a possibility if we don't go tackle in the first. Best kick in New York Giants history? It's got to be Norwood. Wasn't by a Giant, though. But in terms of the New York Giants, you got to go with Lawrence Tynes, man. Lawrence Tynes, and I'll go with the first one. In Lambeau Field. He missed the first couple. You're in negative 20, whatever it is, with the wind. And he kicks us to the Super Bowl. But, yeah. I got to go Norwood, man. Norwood's the best kick in New York Giant history, man. Buffalo Bills. Do you smoke cigarettes? No. No, I do not. And I don't recommend that you do. Is Deone Buchanan still on the roster? No, he is a free agent. Gun to your head, where does Tom Brady sign? Tom Brady's going to be a New England Patriot. I'm almost positive. Why is everyone so doubtful? I think that's why. I think it's the not only is it just money, you only gamble in cannolis are the reward. Not for me, at least. Not only is it just money for Conklin, it's the fact that I think he's going to be, every team in the league is going to want to try to get him. So you're competing with everybody, and I don't necessarily know if the Giants are going to be his number one choice. So that's, to me, it's more so that it's a scarce market at the tackle position, and I could see better situations that he would want to go to. Were you a Jeremy Shockey fan? Why did he leave the team? I initially was a Jeremy Shockey fan. I love watching Jeremy Shockey play. He was kind of the Mark Bavaro, I guess, at the beginning of my generation. I didn't get to appreciate Mark Bavaro. He was a very entertaining player. He was the type of player that if he was on your team, you loved him. If he wasn't, you hated him. But at the end of the day, the reason he was no longer with the New York Giants was similar to the reason why Odell Beckham's no longer with the New York Giants. He wasn't a team guy when it came to Eli Manning. Same was with Tiki Barber. And it's funny. They got rid of Tiki Barber, and everybody thought the team was going to be horrible. In-season, Shockey goes down. They didn't actually get rid of Shockey that year. They won the Super Bowl. Shockey goes down. Then Kevin Boss gets his opportunity, and Eli kind of takes off. Shockey was the type of player that always complained in the huddle, was complaining he wasn't getting the football, and a lot of people attributed him to holding Eli Manning back. And that's why the Giants decided to move on from Jeremy Shockey, because even though he was a great talent, he was kind of holding Eli Manning back. That's what the feeling was. Rock or metal? I go with rock. I saw Mark play, and yes, Jeremy Shockey was a great Giant, and Eli helped all those players be great. They went other places and were just okay. That's another thing I always say. Heartstorm Radio, who's another great subscriber of mine, by the way. Heartstorm Media, I mean. I say that all the time with Eli Manning. You know, everybody, and I'm not comparing him to Peyton. I'm not comparing him to Brady. I'm not comparing him even to Aaron Rodgers. He's not in that area. But to me, what makes a great quarterback or a very good quarterback? It's a guy that can make the players around him better. Do me a favor. Look at every guy who's ever caught passes for the New York Giants and tell me how they did after they left Eli Manning. Every single one of them. Including Odell Beckham. How did they do? How did Steve Smith do when he left the New York Giants? How did Kevin Boss do when he left the New York Giants? How did Jeremy Shockey do when he left the New York Giants? How did Hakeem Nicks do when he left the New York Giants? How did Victor Cruz do when he left the New York Giants? Obviously, a lot of these are injury-based, but none of them did better. None of them. They got worse. Jake Ballard. Come on. I appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, Steve Smith. Chris on the bong and Joe. Who is the most valuable defensive weapon on the team currently with the young roster? I would say Peppers. Because of his versatility. I think he's a very good safety. I would say Peppers. What's going on there, Alex Sports? Hakeem Nicks is better than Victor Cruz. Prove me wrong. Maybe as an overall prospect, but for that 1 year, nobody could touch Victor Cruz. That 1 year that they won the Super Bowl in 2011, that was the best year in New York Giants history for a wide receiver. I don't care what anybody tells me. Victor Cruz was on another planet. That was incredible. Victor Cruz that year was insane. So for one specific year, Victor Cruz. But in terms of a prospect, if Hakeem Nicks, people forget how good Hakeem Nicks was. If Hakeem Nicks never got hurt, Hakeem Nicks was going to be a top 10 receiver in the league. He was fantastic. I go back. I remember the jump ball catch against the Packers in the playoffs. Obviously, he had the huge game against the Falcons. Hakeem Nicks was a monster. He just had injury problems. But Victor Cruz for that 1 year it's the best single year ever by a New York Giant at the wide receiver position. OC, Tuck, or JPP. I gotta go. That's tough, man. In terms of a pure pass rusher, OC. In terms of an all-around player, Tuck. Tuck was a leader. Tuck was an all-around player. He was good against the run. He was a leader. I gotta go Tuck. Overall, I go Tuck. As a strict pass rusher, I go OC. And JP, but it's funny because we're talking about individual seasons. Out of all three of those guys, JPP, much like Victor Cruz that year, probably had a more impactful individual season than either one of those two other individuals. So JPP actually probably had the most effect on winning a Super Bowl compared to those other two. Even though Tuck and OC were obviously instrumental as well. But I would go Tuck is the best player of the three. OC is the best pure pass rusher. But I go Tuck. Jacob, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We need to draft the new Brandon Jacobs. He was the main reason I became a Giants fan for life. And you think Ryan Conley could step up as a middle linebacker? I think he could. He's got to stay healthy. We don't. And Jacob, man, thank you for the incredible generosity. I agree. Yeah, but definitely need a big running back for sure. We need that next Brandon Jacobs. As far as Ryan, as far as linebacker goes, yeah, if Conley can stay healthy, I think he'd be great. Best Disney movie? I don't know. You caught me off guard. I'll go Toy Story. Toy Story is great. That counts as Disney, right? That's Pixar. That counts. Movie challenge. Start, set, American History X, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump. Wow. I'm going to start all of those. Those are all some of the greatest movies ever made. But I'll go, my favorite of the three is Forrest Gump. And I'll go Shawshank is 2, American History X 3, but they're all probably my top 25 movies ever. Another one I love is Pulp Fiction. Chris, I can't believe you're still streaming, working overtime here. Love it, man. Yeah, man. You guys have been great all night, man. It's been a lot of fun, and I know A lot of people are, there's not a lot to do right now. There's no sports. And I always try to, I know I haven't been going live as much as I have in the past because I've been busy, between my job and everything else. But I'm going to try to go live more now that there's not a lot of sports and continue to put out as much video content as I can. And you guys have been fantastic all night. You guys have been phenomenal. John Smith with a $5 super chat. He says, I get major goosebumps thinking back on those 2000 Super Bowl teams, man. Those teams were yeah. John Smith, man, you and me both. And Bad Dog says it all the time, and he's absolutely right. The best team was the 2008 team. If Burris doesn't shoot himself, that team was unbelievable. I mean, there's many regular season games I think of, but I always go back to the Ravens game. I remember I was at a bar, and they're playing the Baltimore Ravens in 2008, maybe mid-season. And the Ravens had, the best defense in football that year. And the Giants' offensive line that year and their running game just manhandled everybody. They went up against Ray Lewis and that stacked defense. The Ravens knew what they were going to do. They knew that Eli Manning was going to take the ball, he was going to turn, he was going to hand to Jacobs. He was going to turn, he was going to hand to Ward. Bradshaw. They couldn't stop him. They ran for 250 yards on the best defense in football. And I was watching that, and that's what I want New York Giants football to get back to. You know what we're going to do. We don't care because we're going to beat the hell out of you at the line of scrimmage. You're not stopping us. And I remember watching that game, and I was getting amped up. That is one of my favorite regular season games in Giants history. I like old school football. I like smash mouth football. Pound it right down their throat. Basketball, or I've seen both those movies actually. I'll go basketball. Thanks again for the Hakeem Nicks is the best Nick in New York. Sorry, Tana. Hakeem Nicks is the best Nick in New York. Oh, I get it. The name. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, exactly, man. Top 3 best Super Bowls. Learn football. Get the hell out of my stream. That's an inside joke. Top 3 best Super Bowls. Okay, so I can only tell you Super Bowls that I've seen. So I'm not going to go back to the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. When I was a kid growing up, the Super Bowl sucked every year. The Giants one was good, but I was 5, in 90. I don't count that one. But the NFC used to beat the hell out of the AFC every year. The Redskins, the Cowboys, everybody beat the hell out of everybody. So the first one I'm going to say is one of the greatest ever was actually when the AFC reversed the trend when John Elway beat the Packers. I still get I'm not a Broncos fan, but I get goosebumps watching the replays to that Super Bowl. Whenever it's on, you see John Elway spin around like the helicopter, take the hit. He's 40 years old. That to me is one of the best. And I mean, you could argue both Giants Super Bowls are up there. I mean, the first one's got to be when they beat the undefeated New England Patriots. The Titans Rams was a great one. The Steelers Cardinals was a great one. But yeah, I mean, the first great one that I remember was that Broncos Packers one. Let's see what we got here. Yo, Chris, watch Jabril Peppers' high school highlights. He was insane. I'll definitely check it out, Derek. I'll definitely check it out. Hey, man, really appreciate everything you do on this channel. Really bring a great perspective to the Giants and to life. Good night. Thanks from all. Man, I really appreciate that, Patrick, man. Thank you so much, man. And, yeah, man, I try to, like I said at the beginning, no, not the beginning, but earlier in the stream, and that could have been at 10 o'clock. We've been live for almost 4 hours. That's crazy. I try to represent the Giants well, I guess now. I feel like I didn't used to do that good of a job of that. And when I first started YouTube, because I didn't, I don't know. But I try to do a better job of that. But I want this to be like your channel as much as it is mine. I want it to be somebody was calling me from New Jersey at 12:17 at night. I wonder who that was. But I want it to be, I want you guys to feel like it's your channel just as much as it is mine. Oh, pancakes. Worst Super Bowl I've ever watched? To me, it's the Giants-Ravens because I'm a Giants fan. Well, first off, that Super Bowl was horrible, but, I mean, especially being that it was the Giants, I was so amped up. The Giants beat the Vikings 41-0 the week before, and it just seemed like that year, everything was just falling in place. The Giants come in, they bring in an alcoholic quarterback, Kerry Collins, and everything's clicking. Everything's clicking, right? We've got Tiki Barber going off. We've got Amani Toomer. We've got Ike Hilliard. And we beat the Eagles, I think, in the divisional round. And we stomp out, in the words of Michael Strahan, the Minnesota Vikings by 41 points. And we get to the Super Bowl. And everybody knew the Ravens had a great defense that year. Everybody knew they had a great defense that year. But I didn't realize how great it was until that game. And going into the game, I could say this with complete honesty. This is the truth. Of the 3 Super Bowls that I've seen the Giants in, I don't count the 90, I was too young. The 3 Super Bowls I've seen the Giants in, actually, no, that's not true. The second Patriots, I thought we were going to win. But I definitely thought we had a much better chance to win the Ravens Super Bowl than the first Patriots. And I actually thought we were going to win the game. We got obliterated. We got killed. And then we had that one play where we returned the kick for a touchdown coming out at halftime. And then the Ravens answered right back. Just imagine this. You're getting killed in the first half. And Jesse Armstead, by the way, had an atrocious penalty in that game. But we returned the kick at halftime. We score a touchdown out of the half. And then the Ravens take the next kick, and they bring it back for a touchdown. And I'm like, it was the worst. It was the worst Super Bowl of all time. It was horrible. No, this is not a call-in show, Alex Sports. It became a Q&A. It became a Q&A. Kerry Collins was smoking a cigarette on the sideline in the fourth quarter. Yeah. Smart thing to do is make Evan Ingram the big body. David Bigelow, man, thanks so much for the love, man. You've always repped us well. A true New Yorker, always much. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. David Bigelow, $5 super chat. Different question. In your opinion, who is the worst owner in the NFL and the best? Wow. I can tell you, I think the worst is. I would say the worst is probably Snyder. The Jets owner is really bad too. What's his name? The Jets owner is really bad too. But I would go Snyder. Snyder's probably the worst of the Redskins. I mean, I guess I got to go Kraft, right? I mean, obviously, sex allegations aside, I got to go Kraft as the best. Yeah, I think I'd go Kraft as the best, and I'd probably go Snyder as the worst. The Jets owner's pretty bad, though. Al Davis is pretty bad. What do you think of the new contract, Ryan? Oh God, I made a video on that today. I think it was a joke. I think it was an absolute. What's going on, NBA guy? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. I think it was an absolute joke. That's the problem with the quarterback market nowadays. If you can throw a football, you get paid. And Ryan Tannehill got $30 million a year because he had a good 8 or 10 game stretch and was carried by a run-first football team and a strong defense. Yeah, not taken away. He played well, but if you play well at the quarterback position for a half season nowadays, you become $30 million quarterback. It's ridiculous. And the same thing. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. You know what I feel so bad for? Marcus Mariota. Because if Marcus Mariota would have done that, he would have got paid that. And what will happen now is Mariota will sign on with somewhere else. He'll have a good 8-game stretch, and he'll make $35 million. That's what will happen. Teams are so desperate for quarterbacks, they'll pay him anything. Yeah, look at Matt Castle. Look, what was the name of Flynn with the Packers? Flynn played a game. I think it was at the end of the season. The season was over, and Flynn threw like 5 touchdowns in a meaningless football game because he started for Favre or Rodgers, whoever it was, and then the Seahawks gave him a big contract, and then Wilson beat him out anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. Chargers are pretty bad. You're right. I'm not trying to pick on Sonor, but the Chargers ownership is bad. Go live. Oh, man, I really appreciate that, Lefty. Thank you so much, man. $3 super chat. He says, go live more often. Your show is awesome. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah, man, listen, man, I will. I will do this more often. I will do this more often. Tuesday. I'm going to do it Tuesday. Definitely going to do it Tuesday after work. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you guys are up, I work till 11 tomorrow. But if something big happens, I'll go live tomorrow to recap it for a couple of hours. And then Tuesday, I work till 5. So I'm definitely going to go live Tuesday. And then probably Thursday, I'm going to have Bad Dog on, or I'm going to go on Bad Dogs. I haven't decided yet. We haven't decided yet. But we're going to do our show together, recapping free agency as a whole. But I'll definitely be live a lot this week. It's just hard to... I don't want to be one of those channels that goes live just to go live. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to have something to talk about. And so, right now there's a lot to talk about because we got free agency, we got the draft coming up. So I'm going to try to go live as much as I can this next month and a half, 2 months. Maybe go live a lot, obviously recapping the draft, talking about undrafted free agents, blah, blah, blah. Keep the football mojo going, right? Because this is the exciting time of year for football fans, Giants fans, because our team sucks the last couple of years, and the offseason's exciting when you have a bad football team. Man, I'm so excited for tomorrow morning. It's almost like Christmas Eve, but for the NFL, you just can't wait to see it. Exactly, Big. It's one of the most exciting days of the year. It's one of the most exciting days of the year, especially when you got a bad football team. Chris, there's a curfew now for restaurants. I did know that. Actually, I didn't. You just taught me something. But I did hear that they were going to do that. And I heard that restaurants are going to one thing a guy told me, I think, like, if a restaurant's capacity is 100, you're only allowed 50 people. Not that that's going to be a problem because nobody's going to restaurants now anyway. Dolan's up there. Dolan's horrible. Coronavirus is the perfect opportunity for Dolan to sell a team. I hope he bites. Do you have a goal? No, I do not. I wish I did. Dolan's horrible, Big Daddy. Oh, John Smith, man, thank you so much for the love, man. I really appreciate it. $5 super chat. He says, what's your gut feeling on what happens with Leo now that they only have 12 hours to tag him at this point? Yeah, man, John, man, and John's a great subscriber of mine, too, by the way. I always see him in the streams. I honestly don't think we're going to tag him. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to sign him. There could be an agreement. I don't remember the specificities. I think it's by March 18th if we sign Leo, if it's after a certain date, maybe 16th, I don't remember. But at a certain date, if we sign him, we only pay a 5th-round pick instead of a 4th. So there could be a handshake under the table. We're going to sign you on this date. So the Jets only get a 5th-round pick. That's possible. But I do think if they were going to tag him, he would have been tagged. I don't think they would have waited till the last 2 hours. But maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll be surprised. But yeah, I don't think we're going to tag Leonard Williams. I don't see it. What if the Giants do nothing? If the Giants do nothing, I'm going to tell you what. If the Giants do nothing, as crazy as this sounds, first off, Dave Gettleman. Everybody in this chat knows, if you watch my channel, I feel like I'm pretty fair with Gettleman, but I'll be the first to say I like Dave Gettleman. Like, I try to defend Dave Gettleman because I do think he does some good things, and I feel like people who hate Dave Gettleman won't acknowledge those good things. Like, they will go out of their way to only emphasize the bad things that Dave Gettleman does. And a perfect example is David Mayo. David Mayo. There's plenty of people in the press that bash Dave Gettleman for all these little signings that he misses on. Oh, he missed on this $2 million player. He's horrible. Well, what about David Mayo? David Mayo was an undrafted free agent or whatever he was, league minimum player. What about Cody Core? So for every league minimum player that he misses on, I could give you a guy that he hits on. So I think people go out of their way to bash Dave Gettleman. But that Leonard Williams trade is indefensible. It was a horrible trade. It was an awful trade. But the one thing I'll say about Dave Gettleman, I will give him credit if he does not bring him back, if he feels like he's not worth the contract, because at least he didn't double down on his mistake. At least he didn't, at least he acknowledged, okay, I screwed up. I made a really bad trade, but I'm not now going to make double the impact by now signing him to a bad contract on top of it. It's a horrible trade. I'm not going to defend it, but I would actually, in a way, give him credit if he didn't sign him to a very bad contract on top of the trade. I know he's going to get bashed, but do I hate bandwagon fans? I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, as diehard, everybody in this chat right now is a diehard fan. As diehard fans, I shouldn't say I hate bandwagon fans. As a matter of fact, I look forward to bandwagon fans because you know what it means when you have bandwagon fans? It means your team's playing good. So if we have bandwagon fans, to have bandwagon fans, you have to have a reason for people to want to jump on the bandwagon. So I'm longing for the days to have bandwagon fans. Right now, we don't have any bandwagon fans. Nobody wants to be a bandwagon fan for a 4-win football team. So I'm looking forward to bandwagon fans. But obviously, they don't appreciate the team as much as we do. Let's see what we got. I love you, Street. I appreciate that, Jack the Great, with the dick emojis. Thank you so much for that. We don't got bandwagons right now. We don't got bandwagons right now. Do you think Daniel Jones will be better than Carson Wentz in the future? As long as he can stay healthy, I think he will be. Yes, I think he will be. Chris, there's a skyscraper behind. I'll tell you what, Andy. Every time I come to the studio, I look outside. I see the beautiful buildings, and it does feel cool to have a studio in Manhattan. It does. It really does. And from time to time, Ryan will see me go fishing in the Hudson River. I have done that in the past. Let's see what we got here. Well, remember what Gettleman said on if we let Williams walk in free agency, I'd get torn apart by the media. But right after that, he said, I have thick skin, kind of showing you. Yeah, he's kind of showing that he'd be willing to deal from a position of power. The wagon broke down 8 years ago, yeah. Lions will definitely take young coaches are on the hot seat. Do you think we draft a receiver? Yes, but not early. Not early. You have school tomorrow. I thought your school was canceled, man. I've seen trolls accuse certain Giant fans of being bandwagon fans. Who the blank knows to be a fake Giants fan? Exactly. We don't have bandwagon fans right now. The bandwagon's gone, man. Will you use dimes or quad or Brady stopper jersey during the drafts? Probably Saquon. Saquon's still my favorite guy. I've been wearing dimes a lot, though, lately. Let's see what we got here. If the Skins pass on Young, do you think the Lions will take him? Yes. Yes. But they're not. I still think the Redskins are taking Young. Throw a line, and you know you want to. People forget how good that 2018 was. That 2018 was the greatest the regular season New York Giants team I've ever seen. Not even close. I cannot believe it is 12:30 at night, and I still got 270 people in my chat. You guys are. I can't leave you guys. I can't leave you guys. You guys are amazing. You guys are the best. You guys are great, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in the stream, talking New York Giants football, and hopefully you guys are having a good time tonight, and it's helping you get through the tough times, with not having sports, and I get it, man. I'm a sports fan, so I appreciate everybody for being here, man. Let's see what we got here. Is this your longest stream ever? No, my longest stream ever. My longest stream ever is actually last year. I did the March Madness. I did March Madness for like 9 hours. That was crazy. That's my longest stream ever. This will not go much longer. Thanks for the love, man. Damon, man, have a great night, buddy. You get me through the quarantine. It's not easy, man. Favorite scary movie? My favorite scary movie? I'm trying to think. I'll tell you what. I really like... I'll name a couple that I really like. I mean, I really like... The first... I know it might sound corny. I really like Scream the first time I saw it. I really like Saw. Nightmare on Elm Street are great. I think I'll go Saw. I think the first time I saw Saw, I was so blown away. The first Saw. I think I'll go Saw. How's the weight loss going? It's going all right. I got to lose, I think, 23 more pounds, 23 or 24 more pounds. I had to lose 36 at the beginning. The Ring was good. Yeah, The Ring was good. Appreciate you, Chris, for doing the live stream. I appreciate you, AJ Marshall, man. Which coaches do you think are on the hot seat in the NFL next year? Oh, man. Let me think. I mean, Adam Gase. For sure. Adam Gase will be on the hot seat. Let me think. Nobody in the Giants division because everybody's new. Yeah, I don't think anybody in the Giants division. Nobody in the West. I would say Gaze is the most obvious off the top of my head. I'm sure there's Quinn of the Falcons. I'm trying not to look at the chat so you guys don't give me answers. I would say Quinn of the Falcons. I would say Gaze of the Jets. Those would be my two right now off the top of my head. And oh man, thank you so much, BS, for the $2 super chat, man. He says, keep it coming, man. Off for work for 2 weeks, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you very much for the love, man. I'll try, man. I'll try to go live whenever I can. Yeah, the dog's barking. The dog's not happy up there. I like Bruce Arians. I think Bruce Arians is a good coach. I don't think he's on the hot seat. Favorite non-Giants NFL player. My favorite non-Giants NFL player of all time. I gotta go. Larry Fitzgerald. I've always liked Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's a class act. I think he's an unbelievable football player, but he's an even better. He's kind of like Eli Manning. I think he's a great, and it's fitting that they both won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award the same year. But yeah, I'll go Larry. I love Larry Fitzgerald. Love him. I love Barry Sanders too. I don't know who this Fortnite guy is, but he's a clear troll, and I've seen him. Yeah, he gets to leave. Oh, Cushmaster, thank you so much for the love, man. Dollar, he sent me some Kush. Cushmaster sent me some Reggie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the Reggie. They're out of here. They're out of here. We put him in the trunk. Peter Biscardi. He's gone. He's gone. Cushmaster, thank you for the trees, man. I do appreciate that. Hey Chris, what's your favorite genre for movies? I'd probably say comedy, but I really like everything. I like drama, I like comedy, I like action, suspense, horror. I like them all, man. I haven't seen Jeffrey Abbey. Why did the Jaguars trade Campbell? Why did the Jaguars trade Campbell? Yeah, I talked about that today. I personally think the Jaguars traded Campbell for the same reason that we traded Snacks Harrison. If you look at the Jaguars team, they're kind of on a similar timeline to what the New York Giants were when we traded Snacks. They're a team that's in rebuild mode. They've gotten rid of their entire defense. They're trying to clear salary cap space just like we were. And they see a player, well, he's good, doesn't fit their timeline. So that's why they traded him. The Jaguars aren't winning anytime soon. And I expect they're going to trade Unique Ngakoue as well. So I think that's why they traded him. He's 34, exactly. Bud Dupree will be a Giant. Everything I've read is the Steelers want to keep Dupree, but we'll see. We'll see. The Hangover, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Superbad. All great. Man, you give me tough choices, man. Wow. I'll rank it in order. Oh, wow. I'll go Superbad. No. I'll go Hangover 1, Superbad 2, 40-Year-Old Virgin 3. But they're all really good. I have not D's Nuts for you. I have not. What do I think of the Mookie Betts trade? I'm not surprised. I thought Betts has been rumored to be traded for a couple of years now. And I think the Red Sox didn't plan on keeping him long term, and they got what they could. I think it was a good trade for both sides. Eric Armstead to the Giants. A lot of people have been talking about Armstead lately. I don't know, man. I say it all the time. I just worry about the players that they added there and whether or not that had a lot to do with the improvement in Armstead's game on the 49ers. With all the defensive players they added there with Bosa and everybody else. You got good. I appreciate that, Joda. You ever? I have not. That is one movie I have not watched, Simon. I will check it out though. I know they're barking Midwest. The one movie that I saw recently. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of recent movies. I highly recommend it. Especially if you're into mysteries. Knives Out was fantastic. I'd recommend checking that out. Oh, John Smith, thank you so much, man, for the $5 super chat. He says, what if we tagged Leo and traded him to the Jags for Unique? What if we tagged Leo and traded him to the Jags for Unique? I mean, yeah, it's a tag for a tag. Here's the thing. I don't see if I'm the Jaguars. I mean, yeah, from a New York Giants fans perspective, let's go. But if I'm the Jaguars, I don't want Leo. I want draft picks. I'm in rebuild mode. I don't want to add. I don't want to add players. I want to add picks. I'm not looking to add players to my roster. I want to get cap space off the roster, and I want to get picks. I think that's the way to go for Jacksonville. I don't think they'd be interested in that trade, but from a Giants perspective, I'm all aboard, man. Would you rather have Nick Bosa or Myles Garrett? You know what? I I would rather have. I got to go Bosa. Myles Garrett is a freak of an athlete. He might be the best athlete in the sport. I remember when I watched Myles Garrett combine, and I saw how big and long his arms are. He is a freak. He's not from this planet. But the guy, what he did on the football field, that didn't help his reputation for one. Nick Bosa, and I know some people, I don't get into politics on this channel. Some people have knocks on Bosa for that. I care about him as a football player. Nick Bosa on the football field has never had any problems like that. He's technically skilled. He's probably the most advanced player in terms of being technically skilled coming into the pros that I've ever seen in recent history. I got to go with Bosa, especially after what happened with Garrett. I got to go with Bosa. But in terms of an athlete, Myles Garrett's a freak. Who should we look to trade away? Who should we look to trade away? To me, it's either Dalvin Tomlinson, if we bring back Leonard Williams, or Evan Ingram. Those are the two players I'd be looking to trade. But anyway, guys, it is late, and I went way over time because I had so many people in here, and you guys kept me going the entire night. You guys are phenomenal. I got the dogs barking. And when dogs bark, you got to go up. You got to pet the dogs. You got to pet the dogs. But I just want to say thank you guys for being the best subscribers on YouTube. Hopefully you guys had a fun time. I plan on doing these more often, whenever I can. Tuesday, I'm hoping to do it Tuesday. And possibly tomorrow if something breaks, I'll go really late. But definitely Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll probably go Tuesday and Wednesday. And Thursday with Bad Dogs. So you're going to see me a lot live, so I'm looking forward to it. I want to say thank you guys for supporting my channel. All the love and support you guys showed me tonight. And anybody who subscribed, thank you. And let's hope for some good things tomorrow, guys. Let's hope for some good things tomorrow, guys. Love you guys. Love the New York Giants. Thank you guys for all your love and support, man. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night, guys.